it's Monday night. I tap that, you know I would. Great cigars, great talk, yeah, it's all good. From the lounge to the show, let's spark up the night. Cigar talk, burn slow, everything's right. Legends and makers, they stop on by, sharing the secrets, the craft, the why. From the rollers to the blenders, they tell their tales. Pair it up with spirits, let the smoothness sail. Wrapper, binder, alright. Flavor notes hit just right. Retro hail, take it slow. Only I tap that cigar show. I tap that, you know I would. Great cigars, great talk, yeah, it's all good. From the lounge to the show, let's spark up the night. Cigar talk, burn slow, everything's right. So cut it, toast it, take that draw. Kick back, relax, break out the humidor. If you love cigars, well now you know. It's the I Tap That Cigar Show. I tap that, you know I would. Great cigars, great talk, yeah, it's all good. From the lounge to the show, let's spark up the night. Cigar talk, burn slow, everything's right. So cut it, toast it, take that draw. Kick back, relax, break out the humidor. If you love cigars, well now you know. It's the I Tap That Cigar Show.
Coolest intro ever.
Oh, thanks, man. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the I Tap That Cigar Show. As always, I'm your host, Kevin from Cigar Prop, Kerr, Viajante, Stogie Road Cigars. We got some guests, Gerard from Mardo Cigars, Ray, the Cigar Clown, joining us back. What's going on, guys?
Welcome.
Like a
Beautiful
nice-
Monday.
I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's,
man. I agree.
we don't get too many in studio guests, you know. So we're glad. What you as a cigar lounge owner? What do you think of the home cigar lounge that I built?
Oh, this is 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you got memorabilia, you got the right colors, you got the right speed on the fan, you got the
little
digital
details.
aspect of it.
Yeah.
He's got his own walk-in humidor. He's got so much stuff. Just the attention to detail. This place is really cool. That's why I was so excited. I was like, I cannot wait to go see his cave.
Yeah, you know, it was we're lucky enough to have visited, 100 lounges, throughout the country on our travels, and we always picked out a few little things. But the biggest thing that we wanted, which we achieved, was no smoke. You guys have been to those lounges where you get when you get 4 guys in there and you can't breathe, and it just it just makes it a miserable experience being inside of a lounge.
And that's what I was talking to you about, and you kind of told me a little bit of what you've done. And
no,
awesome job, Kevin. Wow, I'm definitely gonna pick your brain.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah.
So came out good. So we're definitely proud of it.
Well done, Kev. Well done.
Thank you,
Well
Kerr.
done.
Thank you. Before we get started tonight, I gotta share my screen. We got another giveaway that another Instagram giveaway that we got to do. Pick a winner for Corona Cigar and Let's see. D Newman's. I almost thought that was like Drew Newman. I'm like, what? Drew can't win.
Mhm.
So right on. Make sure you're following a Cigar Prop on Instagram. We always have a ton of giveaways, and they're all easy. Comment to win. That's it. We don't make you jump through hoops and tag 3 buddies, share this in 2 places, and all of that stuff. So super easy.
You want to get right into the CigarMedics humidimeter cut and light?
Yeah, let's get that.
Just remember, everybody, with the CigarMedics humidimeter, you'll always know when to hold them and know when to smoke them. So, Kev, talk to me, Goose. What are you smoking tonight, and what is your percentage?
Well, I'm gonna do the humidimeter on this Brickhouse Maduro from JC Newman, but that's not what I'm smoking right now. So I'm good at 62% humidity. So I'll be lighting this one up here shortly. But I am smoking right now the new JC Newman Diamond Crown Tampa. What an amazing event that we went to at Corona Cigar Tampa last week, or I went to last week, and great. They took the classic Diamond Crown blend and added a leaf of the Florida Sun Grown, and it's
yummy.
Definitely makes for a nice spicy blend. What are you at?
I'm at 62%, and I'm smoking the Big Tony Lonsdale.
Right on. Ray, what do you got?
I'm smoking our Rodeo Clown. Fan favorite.
And that would be my second smoke tonight, Ray. Great minds.
My man.
Right on. Gerard, what are you smoking?
Well, this is what you gave me. This is Big Sky. I think this is the Habano. It tastes like a Habano.
Okay.
One.
Yeah. Kerr, I gave him a couple of cigars. He hadn't smoked a Big Sky.
Yeah,
really?
I've been seeing him around for a couple of years at the trade shows, but I've been hearing some good things, and it's got good spice. And I'm just gonna keep on sucking on this thing, dude.
Yeah, Kerr, I saw Kerr that's what I was gonna say. One of our favorites.
One of our favorites from the PCA. That we were down at Torch Lounge last night, Torch Cigar Lounge, and they brought him in here in Greenville, and we were talking about it, and I said, a Big Sky, great guys, great, but freaking the cigars blew me away. And Imami, those were the 2 big sleepers for me. For the big surprises and the big.
Have you tried Imami?
No, I just saw that post over the weekend.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a couple. He sent me some extras to give away to some friends.
I'm glad I got you some gifts before I walked in the door.
Yeah.
The way I'm leaving here, this guy's already got me like 10 cigars for free. That's like,
that's it.
Nice.
So let me write that down.
Still got it coming empty-handed because
Kevin makes me pay for them. You get them for free.
Yeah.
I do get a discount. I do use Cigar Pop for 10% off.
I was gonna ask that. You always get a discount.
Yeah, that's it. Right. When are we going to see the clowns at PCA? Are you guys? When's that coming?
I think, to be honest, Kevin, I mean, for us, I think it's still a little in the early stages for us to do PCA. I still think we're kind of trying to, spread across the, the country and work on our core lines and do these exclusive runs. I mean, we kind of went back to our roots with these like limited small batch releases is kind of how we got our name, early on in the industry. I think it's a little too big of a spectrum for us at the moment. We're kind of focusing on like the smaller scale, like events and things that, go on throughout the country. But I mean, eventually I think it's part of like our, 5-year plan, kind of to get to that point to where we can get to, get the PCA or, kind of go, with one of our blenders or, one of our, shops that we deal with and stuff like that. I mean, I think it's a little bit, it's not, I don't think we're ready for that big scale stage yet. I think we're still trying to build on what we got. We kind of went in the direction of kind of, going off of the limited batch runs that we were doing and tried to focus on bringing out these core lines. And then Goldie Grace came, and then Goldie Grace was only going to be a limited drop. And then that kind of went into becoming one of our core lines. So we kind of put a big emphasis over the past year of, focusing on our core lines, getting into shops and doing stuff like that. So we had just came out recently with this year with the Russian Bear, which I'm sure we're going to be talking a lot about tonight, and especially the big news that we have with Mardo and Gerard. But yeah, man, it's something that we're striving for as we're continuing. Listen, we're continuing to climb the mountain every day. We're continuing to strive forward and move forward. So for us, I think it's something that we definitely have in the plans, but not in the near future, I don't think.
Yeah, definitely don't push it. We see these guys. I've been to PCA multiple times. And there are many guys that don't come back a second time. You know,
Right.
it's a tough nut to crack to spend,
Yeah.
you know, 10, 15, $20,000, you know, just to get out
Right.
there in booths, give away another $5,000. Next thing you
Mhm.
know, you're $25,000 deep. You sold 6
Mhm.
boxes, and you're like,
Mhm.
fuck, like I got to sell cigars for the rest of this year just to make my money back.
You gotta be
Absolutely.
very careful. You gotta be
Absolutely.
very- I mean, I've had quite a bit of experience with that stuff, but for me, I don't know if I'm chiming in at the
No.
wrong time right now, but
No,
it will
that's-
kill it almost will kill the nostalgia.
Mhm.
You gotta really segue in very smoothly, very methodically. You gotta have some strategy. You gotta really have the following. And then if you blow up too much, are you even considered boutique anymore? And that's the nostalgia that I love about Cigar Clown, those micro batch, small batch kind of things.
That's what I said. Do you lose your, you know, oh, look at Ray selling out, going to the PCA. So you get a couple of new followers, but you lose some of your, you know, your core guys, you know, which, you know, most of them, they should understand. Look at him getting big, you know, just, you know, you know, but yeah, I agree. You know, you guys are killing it. You guys always sell out your micro batches, and it's just the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, Viajante is not really, you know, attending PCA much anymore. Andre's not.
Yeah,
you know, because the way they roll out their releases is, I don't think they even need PCA. What for? You know, they can't even produce enough for their demand. So
yeah,
very good spot.
Yeah, you got a lot of the bigger guys. Like, why does Drew Estate show up every year? Like they need PCA, you know. So, but it's interacting, you know, with the people that fly in from all over the country. So, but Gerard, let's start off. Like I said, last time I saw you, well, it was a Vegas PCA, and you were there as a not a brand owner anymore. You had mentioned to me that you weren't with your former cigar company. I know a few people have asked, like, "Hey, what happened with that?" I'm like, I don't know. Do you want to? Do you want to give a? You don't have to go into details, but do you want to just let everybody know? You know, kind of.
There was a lot of personal stuff that happened that I'm not at the liberty of sharing because there's another person involved. So out of respect, I will keep that stuff out of it. But personally, myself, I got into a situation where I needed to move to Florida to continue the Mardo operation. You know, my father passed 10 years ago, so I had my mom helping out, and she has arthritis, and you know, it's just not a place for her to be, you know, helping me out with the fulfillment aspect of it. So we liquidated, and for me to move here, that means I had to separate from my partner, and it just came out that, you know, I will continue Mardo. And he was asking, well, what about Jake Wyatt? And honestly, the words are out of my mouth. I said, you can have it all, because this to me is important enough that I got to go. And it was a tough move, tough decision. I mean, you know, Wyatt is my oldest son.
Yeah.
There's a cigar called Maverick, which is my middle son. It was a long journey, a lot of the blending, but you got to move on sometimes, man. So in order for one door to open, you got to close another.
I hear that.
Yep.
That's basically it, man. I mean,
do you get those cigars named after your son for free in the fine print?
Yeah.
I'm just not the type, man. I'm just not the type. I'm too much of a believer. I believe Jesus would always take care of me. He's always been taking care of me, and I am taken care of. You know, my kids are in my arms. My wife is, you know, next to me all the time. We got a roof over our head. We're doing just fine, bro.
So how old are your boys now?
So Wyatt is 8, Maverick is 5, and just before we moved here, my wife gave birth to Jeremiah.
Wow.
He's 20 months.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, and she'd like one more. So
One more.
I don't know.
You
We have
better
a
be
year.
cracking.
Yeah.
Wow.
We have a year window. If it doesn't happen within a year,
Yeah.
You're
I just turned
outnumbered
40
at 4.
I just turned 49. So
49.
yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, you're right there. You know,
Mhm.
it's, you don't want to be you don't definitely don't want to be them 70-year-old dads, you know, just
Oh, I'm
going,
gonna be working till I'm 85.
you know, no, not working, but just like going to like the high school graduation. Oh, is this your grandpa?
Yeah.
No, this is my dad, you know. So, you know, God. So, but that's
Exactly.
but that's good. So how long has the shop Mardo been in Sarasota?
Uh, so we started in 94 in California. 07, my dad moved to Florida, Sarasota. And he originally opened a shop in the is it Gulf Gate?
Yeah.
I want to say, yeah,
Yeah.
over there. But it was like bar row, and everybody was more
Yeah.
into cigarettes, and he wasn't really getting much of foot traffic. So he left that location. Now he's on the 41. I want to say like, I think his 1 year lease ended. So 08, 09 is when
Yeah.
Sarasota shop has been there since.
All right.
Yeah, it's been there quite a long time.
Wow. Yeah. Have you ever been over Gulf Gate? Our buddy in the cigar industry, well, just a cigar guy, Ray.
Yeah.
Over at
Mouthful.
you've been over to his place?
I have not been, but he's definitely come and visit. And yeah, I got to go check out that.
You
place.
guys, Wednesday was it Wednesday night or Thursday nights smoked meatloaf, Friday nights cheesy beefs. There's just you can go there every night for something different. And
Was it
Smoked
his
meatloaf sounds so
birthday,
good.
or was it Mike Rosales' birthday?
Mike Rosales' birthday. Came,
Okay.
yeah. So
'Cause he-
so they closed the place and we had a little
Yeah.
private function.
He
for it.
invited me to that event. However, I was out of the state, so I was like, "Oh man," I'm like, "Thank you so much, but I won't be here."
So Mike came in and like dumped all of these like these vintage Roma crafts, like just stuff that they haven't made, some stuff they never made, and just dumped hundreds of cigars like on the table.
That's cool.
And be like, there you go, guys.
Oh,
just
that's
have
awesome.
at it. So we were just smoking these vintage Roma crafts. You know,
They
and
do
it was
age
just-
very well. Those sticks,
Yeah.
they do. Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, absolutely insane. What got your dad into the cigar industry? Because I'm certain. I mean, he got you into the cigar industry. What got your dad into wanting to open up a lounge?
Early 90s. At this time, my mother was working at the Ritz-Carlton in Dana Point at the hotel, and she worked at the gift shop, what they call it, the Sandry shop. And they always had a small cabinet of cigars to, offer their guests. And Waldo was the sales rep for Phillips and King's back in the original Phillips and King's owners. And whenever he would come in, he would never really talk to my mom. He would talk to her manager. And one day the manager wasn't there. So she assisted Waldo in the ordering process. And she started asking him questions. She's like, yeah, we're starting to sell more cigars. And Waldo's like, yeah, there's a boom coming. There's like a cigar boom. And then she started asking him questions. And then she went to my dad and she said, I got a business idea for you. Because at this point, my dad was a wallpaper hanger and a painter. And in the early 90s, there was a recession. And my dad was just always out of work. And my dad was like, well, what is it? He smoked a pipe. He smoked cigarettes. He would get boxes of cigars from Price Club back then. It wasn't Costco. And he would just sit in the backyard and play solitaire and just smoke these cigars. I forgot the name of it, just like these two ducks that are flying off of the surface of the water. That was the logo.
Oh, nice.
And then they looked into it, and then they opened up a shop, and then the rest is history.
The rest is history.
Yeah, 1993, 94, they opened up the first shop. Then they opened the second one in 98. And then in 03, they opened the third one, and that's the one I worked at. And I have to admit, in my early 20s, smoking cigars and hanging out with a bunch of 40, 50-year-old men was so boring. I wanted to, hang out with chicks and like, where's the party? So, and I was, very proactive individual. I wasn't very reactive. So I decided I want to be a fireman. And my dad was like, what? And that's what I did. I sold the third store, which he handed it to me. I sold it, used that money to put myself through school. And he's like, well, if that's what you're going to do, then I'm going to move to Florida because I'm tired of the California tobacco taxes.
Oh, even back then they were a pain in the ass, eh?
I think in 98 was when the first cigar cigar excise tax hike, took place. It used to be like 17%. And then Rob Reiner came in and lobbied and blah, 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 blah. And it went to like 60%, then would trickle down and go back up. And it was threat of it was going to go up to 120%. And I was just like, this is a nightmare. So I was like, I want to be out of the cigar business. So I did that. And then when he moved here, he left one shop still in California. So we still had a Mardo Cigars there. And I was managing that on my days off, and I had employees. And when I came back into the industry to manage the shop, because he moved here and my mom didn't want to stay there, long story short, I started seeing these brands. I'm like, what the heck is Tatuaje? And I was like, I've never ever heard of this brand. You know, we knew nothing but legacy brands. So there was a lot of stuff that had changed when I came back in around like 2013. And then 2015, Mardo passed away, which was my dad. And I was like, how am I going to do this? I'm on the other side of the country. My mom's here by herself now. So I go, okay, I'm going to go online. And I started doing everything online, and she would fulfill the orders. And at first, it was all over like Facebook, and it was over DMs. Yeah. And I was just posting on Facebook, and the orders start coming in. I was like, I can't handle this volume. And that's when we decided we're going to go into, build a website. And we still built a following. And 2023, December of 2023 is when I moved here. And I liquidated everything in California. And now we're renovating the store so we can have a man cave as beautiful as this place.
Oh, right on. And joining us is Ray. Ray, we were just talking about Ducks Unlimited Cigars. It's what someone said. Ducks Unlimited.
Hey, Kevin,
I have the box in the garage.
Going back to that California, on a side note, did you see that the In-N-Out CEO is moving to California? She said
she's moving.
She's moving to Tennessee.
Yeah.
So they want to start bringing the In-N-Out over here to the East Coast, but she said that California is not easy to raise family, and it's not easy to do business.
But you know what? I don't understand. I did read about it that the state of Florida really wanted her to bring the headquarters here. And I thought that would be a great move because of the palm trees, right? Their logo is palm trees. I know palm trees in Tennessee. So I'm like, why wouldn't you? Anyway.
It's California's just getting tough. Florida, Florida's a place to be. Ray, where are you at? You're in New York, or I know one of you, or some of you guys are. Where are you at, Ray?
I'm in New York.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm in Long Island.
Okay.
Originally from Brooklyn.
All right. So for those that, because it's been a while since we've had both of you on, Ray, just give us a synopsis of how the Cigar Clowns got started and what you guys do for those that may not know.
Yeah, I mean, we started a number of years ago. We used to hang out at our buddy Nick's house in Staten Island in the early days, in the early 2000s, when I started smoking, like really getting into cigars. And we just, started the whole Facebook group thing, and for, a number of years, and we used to go to Drew State Barn Smokers and events at shops, and we had this little, club thing going on. And then fast forward to like 2018, we decided to make a cigar locally sourced here in New Jersey, over the bridge from Staten Island. We made a cigar, we gave it out to our friends and family, like a cool little thing. We would go out and hang out in lounges and stuff like that and hand it out to people. And we started to build a following, and our group as a core went from kind of blew up from 3 to 6 with, Nikki's friend Bart came along, and then my friend Danny came along, who's still with us, and Joe was one of the original guys, and my buddy Murph, who I work with on my day in and day out job, kind of came along and started getting into the cigars and stuff like that. And fast forward to the pandemic, we couldn't really do shit during the pandemic because, everything was locked down. We're all blue collar guys. We were all still working during the pandemic. So we would do stuff like this. We would get on Zoom calls or Google Duo when it was, in its infancy back in 2020. And this is what we would do every night. We would smoke cigars because we couldn't really see each other in person. We would go to me and Joe would sneak and kind of meet up. And there was a couple of little shops that were like speakeasy. You kind of had to know somebody and knock on the door and the password, and they let you go upstairs in the lounge and hang out. And you couldn't tell anybody the shop was open and all that stuff. We all lived through it. You guys know. We all lived through it. But we decided as a collective, as a group of friends, that we wanted to, we had some connections in the industry, and we wanted to kind of start making cigars. We thought it was a good time to turn such a negative situation that was going on in the world into a positive and see what we can do with it. And first, when we thought about it, we were just going to make a couple of cigars like we did originally back in 2018, and just kind of give it out to our friends and family, which is kind of what we did early on when we sourced the first run of Cigar Clown cigars that we did back in 2020. And again, cutting a long story to a short story, it 37 cigar releases later in 4 core lines. This is where we're at in 2025. I mean, we started with, as you guys know, we started with somebody who kind of looked into us and liked what we were doing, what we were bringing to the table. Kind of, we kind of say that we were bootleggers, like during the 20s.
Yeah.
We were bootlegging, we're doing the whole bootlegging thing, cigars, selling cigars out of the trunk. Hey, you want cigars? I got cigars in my car. You want to have? These are really good. Check these out. We're making cigars for band.
Typical New Yorker thing.
Yeah,
It's a
yeah, we're
fugazi.
hustling, bro. Hustle. It's the New York hustle, bro. That's how it is. It's the New York hustle. That's embedded in all of us. But through the past couple of years, we've lost a couple of partners. We were 6 at one point. Now it's myself, Danny, and Joe are the running of the Cigar Clowns at this moment. I run the social media aspect and do all the art concepts and band works for stickers and bands and stuff like that. And Joe deals with all the, the business aspect of it. And Danny does all behind the scenes stuff with his wife as far as, boxing and shipping and orders and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, man, I mean, it's been a fun ride. A lot of ups and downs, slips and falls, crying, laughing, hard times, good times, and we've been through the rope and we're still climbing the mountain every day, man. But we enjoy what we do and we love doing stuff like this and getting on with you guys and shooting the shit and talking about the brand and talking about cigars that are upcoming. And like I said, we're still doing our thing here.
I gotta admit, Joe is on top of it. Anything I need, he's always there. Class act.
Man, that's
Make
the
sure I
rock.
tell him I said that. Yeah.
I definitely won't tell him you said that, but go ahead.
Yeah. how many lounges are you guys in now?
I think we're on the cusp of like 80 at this point throughout the country. We've accumulated a couple more shops over the past like 6 to 8 months. Our reps are doing a really good job of kind of pushing us out there. As far west as California, Arizona. I think we got a shop recently in New Mexico. A lot of places. We're really predominantly based off of the East Coast, from as far south as Florida, as far north as like upstate New York, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, the Carolinas and stuff like that. And we're kind of branching off into trying to get into Chicago. We did the pipes and tobacco expo a couple of months back. We got a couple of shops that took us and a couple of mobile shops that took us. But we're continuing to expand and from where we started to where we're at now. So we got great guys like Mardo who believe in what we do and what we bring to the table, and as was one of the reasons why we wanted to do this exclusive with him with the cigar that we just came out with, and we're thrilled about it, and we're thrilled that it's going to him, and we think it's going to do really well, and it's a banger of a stick. But yeah, man, we got great support, man. Honestly, between the blenders, our reps, our core group of 3 guys, the shop owners, the brick and mortars, the online retail. I mean, we can't say enough. We're just in a humble position to continue to grow this brand that that we started back in officially back in 2020.
Nice.
And are you? Someone wants to know, are you in Texas anywhere that you know of?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure. I don't think so, but I think that's something that we're currently working on at the moment. But if there's any, listen, Mardo Cigars, you want to order them? You're not in Texas? Go to order them right there from that guy up on top of the screen.
Yeah, just check out, in the video description below or the social media links, so if you want to hit up Gerard on all the social medias. Afterwards, I didn't know Ray was going to be on, so I'll put the social
surprise guest.
Yeah, I'll put the Cigar Clowns on the socials at all.
Yeah, we're on Facebook, IG.
Yeah,
you could find us. DM me. Believe me.
The Twitter. You're on the Twitter. Ray, you guys aren't on the Twitter yet.
Not the Twitter. It's the Discord, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube.
You gotta get on. Gotta get on the Twitter, man.
I do.
Yep.
I gotta do that too.
You don't have. And I tell everybody, you don't have to post on Twitter ever. You just create it, and then you have your link to your website or whatever. And it was so that way when I'm smoking, like I was gonna, I did a post on Twitter earlier tonight, about the show and everything else.
Right.
I couldn't tag you. Because you don't have, so at least if you have a profile and a picture, be like, oh, hey, what's the Cigar Clowns? I'll just go. Right. It'll take, you don't have, oh, they don't post anything, but let me go to their website, and check it out. So that's the easiest thing to do is just do that. And you'd be surprised. I bust on a lot of brand owners about getting on Twitter, and a few of them reach out and be like, hey man, like we're doing like really good on Twitter, and I'm like, yeah,
I appreciate that.
Now that Elon's got it and they're not banning all this tobacco stuff, and you can actually post links and you can do sales and you can do whatever you want. They don't care.
I'm gonna get the exact date for you guys. I just got word, a very reliable source on social media. We're not gonna get shadow banned anymore. The industry.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you hear about that?
Good.
No.
Yeah, they're actually not going to shadow ban us anymore. It was another term. I'm going to get you guys the actual date. It's happening pretty soon. So we're going to start seeing some more people out of our followers being able to start seeing our content. So that's really good news.
It's good. I know Zuckerberg. He did a great interview with Joe Rogan, and he's apologized for a lot of the stuff, and they fired I think 99% of their fact checkers. They're not doing shadow banning. They're allowing people that have legitimate businesses and just are trying to do their thing. They're not shadow banning, and they're doing So I'm like, that's good, because Instagram's where it's at for us. We do more on Instagram than anywhere else. But
maybe I'll text him right now, see if I can.
But Ray, what's going on with Mom Donnie up there in New York? What do you guys doing up there?
This is what happens when you live in a liberal state, unfortunately. You know what I mean? Yeah. It is what it is. I mean, I could tell you, even with the presidential election, for to look at the map of New York as a whole, and like the boroughs, right? Like Staten Island, all red. 80% of Long Island, red. A lot of 90% of upstate is red. But they get those higher count tallies out of Manhattan and Brooklyn because of the population. And that's why they always win in that. Swillia is running for the Republican side. I don't think he has a chance in hell. But I mean, of course, I'm going to vote for the guy. But I mean, it is what it is. I don't have a problem just disclosing that. But I mean, listen, we go from one extreme to the next, right? You got AOC, and then you go from one extreme to another extreme. They like these extremists. They like I don't know. I can't answer. I wish I could.
They're stacking the extremism. It seems like there's someone out there saying, "Hey, let's try this."
Right.
And it's like
it doesn't work
to one up, because I'm from Pennsylvania originally, and when you look at Pennsylvania, it's all red. It's blue Philly, blue Pittsburgh, and blue Scranton. Believe it or not, it's Joe Biden's spot, but pretty much red all over.
Yeah, that's like they're talking about now. Jersey might even be a swing state at this point, because there's a lot more people waking up in that state saying, what are we doing over here? What's going on? People are starting to wake up slowly. Finally,
they are, and I just don't get where this the social, and people that don't know what socialism and communism they don't even know what those terms mean, and they're just chanting this, and it just you got these true socialist countries. People are like, no, you don't want this. This is not an ideal thing, just
and people who live here who've come from socialist countries, they're like, hold on for a second here. I'm living in America. There's a reason why I came here. Just please be quiet. You don't know what you're talking about. Please sit down. Because it's what's one thing I never understood, regardless of the political ideology, is when you see the migration from California, because it's expensive, the taxes, you hear all of the horrible things of coming from these folks, and then they go into Arizona and Texas, and they still vote the same way.
Yeah.
And I'm like, didn't you just leave a state that is predominantly your party, and you're leaving because it sucks, and you're going to go make another state suck? I never understood that. I never understood that process.
It's the same. My buddies out in Texas, they have their saying, don't California or Texas. It's like you left for a reason, and then you come out here and you try and push the same fucking agendas that you left for.
Yeah, you just left them.
So that's it. Here's a good question here for you, Ray. Why the name? Some people are scared of clowns.
Oh, why the name? This is not a PG program, correct?
No, not at all.
Okay, good. So going back to when I started the story earlier on with the cigar clowns in its infancy, when we were hanging out in Nicky's yard, I'm a big movie buff, right? I'm a big mob historian. I don't condone anything they do. I just find it fascinating how they function in this country for so many years, in the golden age and all that other stuff. And Goodfellas is one of my favorite movies. So Nicky was breaking my balls one night when we were hanging out back there. I'm like, oh, what am I, a fucking clown? What am I here to amuse? He goes, that's what we should call our group. We're a bunch of clowns. We're a bunch of cigar clowns. And that's how the name came to fruition.
That's it. We need to bring the mafia, the mob. We need to bring that shit back to some of these towns. Like New York. New York but this shit wouldn't go down in New York. If the right people were running the place.
Listen, for those who don't know, the government hired the mafia during World War II to protect the docks because they were afraid of sabotage.
Yeah,
insane. It's crazy, wild. No, but
Yeah, there's a
hey,
crazy
listen.
history with the mob and the mafia and the United States government during World War II.
I don't
Yeah.
support
Very
organized crime.
ingratiated.
I just want to go on the
Yeah,
record and say that.
They were
I'm
Now,
just
subcontractors.
fascinated by it. I'm just
They were
fascinated by it. I'm really
subcontractors.
fascinated by it.
I'm just as fascinated, man. I follow some of those guys on YouTube. You know,
Oh,
the
yeah, me
old,
too.
the
Mhm.
old guys that did their time in prison, came out, and
Yep.
they're telling these stories. And I'm like, every
Mhm.
time I was like, get the fuck out of here. You know, it's like,
Mhm.
what? Like that
Mhm.
happened, and just it blows me away, the stuff that you don't see in the movies. You know,
Well,
and,
it's yeah. Well, just like it's good. Well, they say that the most accurate film to date, as far as truth wise, is Goodfellas. It's like 90% or 80% accurate, whatever it is. But you
oh,
get
is
one
it?
scene in
Okay.
there. Yeah. So one of the scenes in that movie where they steal a truck and they got all these yellow like Mr. Rogers like little sweater things, and they bring him in the back door and they move him out the front door at a discount price, and that's how they made their money back from stealing the truck. And they did this and they hold the swag and cigarettes and selling cigarettes. Or and then what's his name? Henry Hill gets arrested for selling cigarettes. He gets arrested for the first time. That's all the shit that they used to do back then, and they got away with it.
Man, any thoughts of ever? I mean, you're probably a New York guy. You'll be there forever. But any thought getting older? You know, Florida looking good for you?
Dude, I listen. I just vacationed in Florida 2 weeks ago, and I love it down there. I have family out in Arizona. I frequent Arizona at least once a year, sometimes twice a year. I would probably like to do the snowbird thing. I got my kids here, so it's like I would like to they're gonna grow and do their thing and stuff like that. But I mean, I like to be closer to where I can get back, whether it's like the Carolinas or Florida or Arizona, but do 6 months there and then come back here and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean. Listen, the traffic here, like everywhere else, it's the people. It's overpopulated. It's insane. But I ain't going anywhere for the next, at least 15 plus years at this point.
Yeah, I'm sure that the older you get, that snow is going to get colder and wetter and deeper, and not good.
Knock on iron. We haven't really gotten any bad snowstorms in the past like 2 or 3 years. So.
Oh, really?
Nice.
That's good.
It's been mild.
It's a big task to move. I mean, I had to learn where to get my car oil change, where to get tires at a good deal.
Oh,
get
yeah.
a cleaner, landscaper, handyman, everything. And then you get the culture shock. It's a big commitment, and it's a big move, and you got to stick with it. They say it takes 3 to 5 years for you to get adjusted. But what I love about Florida is the less regulations. Like, for instance, we just got news here in the state of Florida. You no longer need to have a wholesale license to wholesale cigars anymore. You can just have a tobacco license. And
as long as you're as long as you're not selling them. So it's a pass through.
It's B2P.
Yeah.
B2B,
Yeah, B2B.
So prior to this, it was you had to have a wholesale license.
Yeah.
It was $100 bond. Then it became a $2,500 bond. And now it's no longer even mandated. So I'm just like, you never hear things like that. That's great. You know what I mean? It just makes it a lot easier for people to do business. You do need some regulation. You need some policing. I mean, you got to keep some people straight, but over regulating to make it a money grab, it just makes it harder for businesses to stay alive. And then you got to, like in California, right? You have regulations over regulations. You have OSHA, and then in California, you have Cal-OSHA, right? And on top of that, they want you to pay the employees at certain wages. And you're like, well, I just can't afford it with all your regulations. And then you want to, dip in my pocket to make the wages higher. There's nothing left for me and my family. And then, for instance, we've been audited so many times in California when it came to the excise tobacco tax, right? So you get an agent walks in and he's like, hey, you're going to go through an audit. That's fine, whatever. We show them our paperwork. We're, above board. Everything's good. We've been paying for everything. Well, according to our records, the agent says, that's not the case. This is the case. And then so you're bound to have to retain a lawyer. Now it's going to cost you anywhere between $3,500 up to worse to $5,000, right? So if you save that $5,000 for your family vacation for the summer, guess what, kids? Dad has to use this money for a Board of Equalization agent, and we have to get a lawyer. And the kids are like, "What's a lawyer?" They're 5 years old. All they know is they're not going to go on vacation anymore. So that's where it really starts harming your livelihood. And that's why people are leaving. They're just fed up. They can't survive anymore.
Yeah, it's
That's
great.
tough.
I had a visit from the ATF. Gave me a call a couple months ago, and they had to come and inspect my like. They weren't allowed, since I have a home business. They weren't allowed to come to my house. The guy said, I cannot come to your house.
Good.
I cannot come inside your house.
You can't.
And so I'm like, so there's like a little park right there on the next block over. He's like, I'm like, yeah, there's a park right there. He's like, yeah, just bring some of your receipts and your license. And, he took some pictures, did his computer thing. And he goes, looked at my website and had the age verification thing. He goes, all right, man, you're all good.
I love that.
Yeah. And I'm like, well, that was it. And he's like, yeah, that's it, man. like 10 minutes in and out, no drastic. And it's like, yeah, you're good. So and that's what that's what I love. What about you, Ray, up there in New York? What's your do you have a lot of restrictions on wholesaling, retailing, everything else?
It's expensive, man. It's a 75% tax in New York.
God.
It's just as bad as California is. It's like, trying to sell your be at home in New York and be a homebred brand. It's hard to sell in this state because of those, prices on the cigar. Like, you pick the rodeo clown. You can sell it, whatever, you're selling it for outside of the state of New York. And in New York, it's, a $20 stick, $21 stick because of the taxes. It's hard, it sucks, but it is what it is. That's why we're trying to expand out across the country, have good online retail, Smoke Inn, Mardo, Vice, Toro, all these other, places that are not outside of New York, but it's hard. It's tough. It's tough. You got to constantly go in, be with the people, do events, do cutting lights and all that other stuff and kind of, maintain their presence at home. But it's it's not easy at the end of the day. It's really not. And, and Gerard can attest to that, when he was in California, it sucks.
That's brutal.
It sucks.
Yeah. You mentioned, how the hell did you get into Smoke Inn with Abe? Like, Abe is notoriously difficult. Like, how did that work out?
I'm going to go back to what Gerard said about Joe as a businessman.
Yeah. Okay.
Made it happen.
Man, like Abe's my boy. Like we're really
Abe's great people. Yeah.
He doesn't buy my fucking cigars. So, yeah. So, God.
You want me to put in a good word?
yeah. I'm going to talk to Joe, And,
you got to talk to Joe, man.
Yeah.
I've
got to talk to Joe.
A little bit when I was with Jake Wyatt. One of the things that he likes, sorry, is if there is a good, strong social media presence.
Yeah, that's a must.
That's a must for him. If you're a boutique brand, you have, and he looks at your social media. Is your face there? Do you have followers? What are you doing? Does it look authentic? Is it genuine? Their engagement. He's pretty smart. He is a very smart man when it comes to making some business decisions. Obviously, he's got, the success to show for. So good for you guys.
And you know why? To go off what Gerard's saying, for me, who kind of handles the majority of the social media, I'm like, we all, take our part, but for the most part, I try to put as much content and answer DMs and post. And, obviously, we were talking earlier about Instagram is, for you guys is a big thing, even with us. When you would go on a couple of years ago, you couldn't even scroll far enough on the top to see lives with cigar lives. See how many cigar lives were. Now you don't see anything anymore. Yeah, it was you. It got because it got regulated. We got shut down. We got who's getting shadow banned, who's this, who's that, social media. And what's sad is, like, if you really sit down and look at it, right, between YouTube, like you said, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, they kind of gave especially during the pandemic, gave a huge boost to the cigar industry. Then you want to sit there and regulate it and shut it down and this is not good, or we're not going to support anybody who has any tobacco. Tobaccos have been part of this country since its founding fathers in the 1700s. Like, what are we even talking about here at this point? You know what I mean? It's insane the way they regulate stuff, but that's fine. But again, I feel I was humbled at the fact that he appreciated how we are on social media and so that to me that I'm grateful that he sees the again, like Gerard said, social media presence, how active are you, what are you doing, you're constantly posting, you're doing this, you're doing that. So for him to say, you're doing a good job, I mean, for somebody like that in the industry to give you that props is huge.
It's huge. I know one brand owner, which I won't say, but Abe decided to bring him in. There was some buzz about the cigars, but they had zero social media. And he's like, you got a year. You got a year to get your shit together, and get on social media. And, that brand's not in that shop anymore. Some people they just can't do it. And it's just, I wouldn't even know why you'd get into this business if you can't do social media. Why even, you know? So Kerr and I, we bitched about it for years. If you don't even have a website with like a landing page, you know, you don't have to order, just contact us.
Doesn't cost much, not that hard to make.
That's it. For $100, you could have a pre-built website with a little thing saying contact us, and you get an email. You don't know how to do social media, and then you hear these, you know, the boutique cigar owners, you know, crying, you know, oh, it's just so hard to compete with the big guys. No, it's not. Just, you know, you just got to grind it.
Well, I had a laugh earlier, Ken, when you were talking about X, for example, and I remember we had I can't remember who we had on, but you were just talking to them about having an X, you know.
That was a single barrel cigar company. And
in the middle of the conversation, I'm like, you realize we have 200 viewers right now on X.
Yeah.
While the show was going on.
That's why I told the guys, and I go, those 200 people have no idea how to you know, get a hold of you guys.
Right.
You know, then he emailed me the next morning when we got an account, you know, so I'm like, there you go. But and you don't have to be an expert, you know, not everybody knows how to get, you know, you got to do X, you got to do, you know, I just started on Substack, you know, which is getting bigger and bigger, and I'm trying to navigate that. And there's so many fucking groups out there. It's just like these groups are brutal, you know. It's just, you know, and then, you know, I mean, you guys are way bigger than me. I mean, how many times you guys get tagged? You know, next thing you know, it pops up on your phone. It's like, oh, you were tagged, and then you're trying to find it. Like, shit, where's that tag at? And you can't. And it's gone. It's gone. You can't find it, and it's just like, it's insane. It's never ending. So you guys are, I mean, you used to be a boutique cigar company, Ray. What is boutique? What is boutique anymore? You know, because now we're starting to get the new term of micro boutique, because now, like, because Dunbarton is considered boutique. Dunbarton Cigars is not fucking boutique. You know, Steve Saka is
I don't agree with that either.
Is not boutique. You know, so I don't know. What would your we'll start with Ray. What would you consider a boutique cigar company?
Easiest answer in the world. We are the blue collar cigar companies. That's what we are. We're the blue collar, behind the scenes, doing ourselves. We don't have, you know, secretaries and huge branding and legacy this and that. And we're doing all the work ourselves. We're hustling and grinding every day. Yeah, we have reps that help, you know, that would, you know, doing the stuff for us. But I feel like if you look at it as a whole, the legacy brands are the white collar, and I think the boutique and the micro boutique are on like that blue collar status. You know, we're kind of all doing ourselves. We're grinding. We're going on shows. We're answering emails. We're answering phone calls. We're answering DMs. We're going on lives. We're doing shows. We're doing this. We're interacting with the people. I go on a herf almost every Friday night with a group of guys that, you know, we know since we started, that you know, are fans of ours and also become friends. Like, even like with you guys, like, you know, it's like we've there's people I've never met before in person that I can call up in the middle of the night and say, hey, listen, I got a problem. You want to hear me out? Yeah, I'll hear, and I'll listen. What do you need? You need me to send you something? You okay? Like, yeah, that's the one thing I keep emphasizing, like, when you talked about with social media. Like, social media is such a huge part of this industry, and it's helped this industry grow to where it's at now with shows like this and other podcasts and cigar reviewers and everything else. It's come a huge way since the pandemic, and it's a huge part of our industry, and it's nice to be able to use this format to get out there to the people, answer questions in the comments. You know, hey, you got a problem with one of our cigars? You DM us, we're going to replace that cigar because we stand by our product. You know, it's a huge entity to have. So I feel like for us, having that touch with being able to talk to people and get on personal levels with people and becoming friends with people, through those outlets, I feel like, we're very blue collar. We're out there on the forefront. We're out there on the front lines, grinding and doing what we got to do, dealing with orders, dealing with customers, dealing with, social media, doing all that stuff. Not saying that other brands don't do that, but I feel like the boutique and the micro boutique industry is very, very blue collar in my opinion.
Yeah, you talking about people that you've never, some of the, like my cigar Craig Vanderslice, who said, he was one of my closest friends for like 10 years before we finally met in person, so, and it wasn't awkward at all. It was just like, we knew each other, and I love developing all these relationships because I'll see someone online and be like, hey, I need an electrician wherever. And I'm like, oh, I think I got a boy out there. He'll know where he'll know a good handyman out there, an electrician. Just shoot him a message. Hey, I got a guy, cigar guy out there, and he's like, oh, send them here. Send them to my boy. He'll take care
Right.
of them. And
Right.
and
Right.
I love that. Kerr, what is your definition of boutique?
I've always tried to think about boutique as more objective measures,
Yeah.
numbers wise. So if you're a company that makes less than 1 million cigars a year, you would fall in that boutique category. I don't have a rat's ass clue of what a micro boutique is or a sub boutique or whatever these other
Yeah.
relabeling of things. I think that you'll have some of these bigger companies that will come out with a small batch and try and identify with boutiques, right? Because it's kind of it's a cool thing. We've seen beer, do it. You had bigger name beer companies they bought microbrews or whatever they call them now. We called them microbrews back in the 80s and 90s, but or they'll come out with a small batch or a short batch or whatever. But at the end of the day, boutique cigars, 1 million cigars or less, that's something we talked about back at the Boutique Cigar Association many, many years ago. And I still think that's a pretty good number to use objectively.
Yeah, that kind of chaps my ass sometimes, when the boutiques or not the boutiques, the mainstream. Oh, we got this new LE. We found some tobacco. I'm like, you didn't find no tobacco. You know what you were looking for, and it's 100,000 sticks. That's all we got. What the fuck? That's more sticks than some of these guys have produced in 5 years. And that's not an LE. Get the fuck out of here with that shit.
Right.
So
yeah.
What about you, Gerard? Because you were a boutique, were you under 1 million cigars a year producing?
Yeah. And
okay.
There's many components as to what boutique means to me. I'm a little bit more geeky when it comes to that. So to me, like Kerr had already mentioned, anything under the 1 million sticks, you're considered a boutique company. But a boutique cigar is completely different in my optics. So Roma Craft, to be considered a boutique cigar company, but as a cigar, it's a new cigar brand, right? Same thing with Jake Wyatt. We were a new cigar brand, but our cigars were not boutique. So to me, a boutique cigar does fall into the subcategory of a small batch or micro batch. And what the heck's that mean? When you go source tobaccos in Nicaragua or Dominican Republic and you're a small boutique company like Roma Craft or Luciano, when you want to get really, really good tobacco, you got to be part of a collective, right? So you got to be part of the group that is, let's say Oveja Negra, which is black label. You take Roma Craft, you get Luciano, you get a couple other small factories. You pull your money together and you buy the whole lot of the tobacco, right? So you can get the best. But then you're going to get some really not so good tobacco. You got to figure out what you're going to do with that not so good tobacco. Now, there is a part where if you can afford to age tobacco anywhere between 2 to 3 years and utilize that tobacco to make, a limited run or a small batch run, that cigar is going to be amazing, right? However, next year's crop, right, you're going to take that and you're going to age that again for 2 or 3 years. So every year you're going to have to put a lot of tobacco to age 2 to 3 years. And that is going to be only as much as you can afford to age for 2 to 3 years, because that's going to increase your production cost, because that's just product that's just sitting there for 2 to 3 years. You're not getting your ROI on that, right? So every year the crop always changes. It's just like, anything that's organic. So to repeat that same exact consistent flavor on that cigar that you are saying this is aged tobaccos, it's going to be nearly impossible. So when it comes to a boutique cigar, you can go get aged tobaccos all the time. This year, 2025, there's going to be a host of cigar tobacco that's anywhere between 2 to 3 years. I myself can go down to the DR or Nicaragua, can buy a bunch of this 2 to 3 year old tobacco, make cigars, and then I'll call it a boutique cigar. And it's going to be amazing because it's aged tobaccos. Come 2026, it's going to be aged tobacco. It'll be the same crop, the same seeds, but it's not going to taste the same. So the blend is going to change a little bit. Now, do you want to try to mimic the same cigar as the year previous? Or do you want to just say, you know what, this is going to be something different. Let me roll with the punches. And now you're considered yourself a micro batch or small batch company that comes out with boutique cigars. So that is a reality. And a lot of people are not embracing that because they're concerned that, you know, we want to please everybody. We want to make it consistent. Oh my gosh, if it's not the same flavor, it's not going to sell. I keep bumping on this.
That's me.
And that's where you just have to have the confidence. You got to educate people and you got to let them know that these limited cigars that have tobaccos 2 to 3 years of age, once it's done, it's done, it's gone. We're not going to be able to consistently keep that flavor going on. That's what I like. And when it comes to like the cigar cons, let's talk a little bit about the Russian Bear.
Yeah. That's the newest cigar between, you know, Cigar Clowns and Mardo, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So Cigar Clowns, you guys launched and released the Russian Bear or the Dancing Bear in a Robusto 5x50.
Yes.
I sold out, right? Called Joe. I said, Joe, I need some more. So I don't have any. Well, what can we do? Anyway, I'm not really sure how the conversation happened. He said, well, I'll make you something. I said, I want more of the Dancing Bear. I really like that cigar. That's what I want. He said, well, I have to call the factory and see if there's any tobacco left. I was like, oh, so we're on pause for 2 days. He calls the factory and he's like, okay, there's enough tobacco. I go, can you make me a Toro actually? So you want a Toro? Well, how many sticks do you want? I go, well, what's the minimum? What's the maximum? He said, let me call to see if we can make Toros, because what if the leaves are short leaves? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he made a phone call. I'm not an expert, and he said, okay, we have enough tobacco to make you some Toros, and it's not going to be a lot. And I said, okay, well, what can we do? He said, this is the allotment, what we can do. I said, all right. He said, this is how much it's going to cost. I said, then let's write the check and make it happen. And so we have a Toro coming out of the Cigar Bear. I really like that cigar. It was so good, so flavorful. That sweetness, it had that body in there. It had the pepper. It's very well balanced. And I don't know if the tobaccos are aged, but I tell you this, you can smoke it right out of the box. I don't have to let it age. I didn't really notice any hints of ammonia or any traces of it. So that to me is basically called a micro batch or small batch. Sorry, Kerr.
Yeah.
I was really kind of curious on what would be considered a micro batch or a small batch, because we see, you know, Ray, you had talked about some of, and I know you guys have probably had, you know, multiple batches, or Ezra Zion is a prime example where they'll come out with a specific batch, and when they're done, they're done. So I think it's more of a micro batch or a smaller batch. It's just a one and done. And that makes sense. I think that the term or the phrase just seems like it's being dipped into or overused.
Yeah, I think so. And you hit it. I mean, I have been pissed off this year with some of these fucking limited releases to where I get it and the fucking cigar isn't ready. You know, it's like, son of a bitch. I have a $400 box of cigars in there. I smoked one and I'm like, yeah, you know, this was like a couple of months ago. And I'm like, I got to wait till December, you know, because I know by now, you've been smoking long enough. You know how long a cigar is going to take before it's going to be smokable. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. You know, it's like this, and it pissed me off, you know, and it's multiples this year. And it's just, I don't know, people just, they're rushing for the money grab, you know.
Here's the thing, a little to defend the bigger companies. So Cigar Clowns, I'll just say me, all right? I'll go down to the DR. I'll buy this tobacco. I'm going to pay a little bit more for it. And for me to get it sold, to get people to want the cigar, it's got to be priced right.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're a legacy brand and you have this tobacco you've been aging for 2 to 3 years, you can yield 100,000 sticks. For you to stop the operation of your generic cigars that are being rolled every single day, which is your bread and butter, to stop those rollers and start making these limited cigars, you're going to have to make it a $20 to $30 MSRP to justify the operational cost of you making these small batch limited cigars. And now you're going to charge $30, $40 to recoup your ROI on what you're losing on the generic production. So for a small company like, I don't know, or an individual like myself, when I go down there, you know, yeah, I'm going to pay a little bit more for the tobacco, obviously, because it's aged, but we don't have to charge $30 or $40 because for me, that is my operation, right? So we can still have the ability to see some margin to sell the cigar anywhere between $12 to $16. You know, that's the sweet spot. So you're getting a very good cigar, a very good price. The only issue is it's going to usually be like a one-off. And
Yeah, you know,
That's the way it goes.
and I don't have any problem. You know, I like Ray, what you guys do. You know, you just like you said, you're 37 blends, and I prefer to see that. You know, because we always have those cigars we miss. Crown heads with the Los Calavares every year. It's different, and then everybody always talks about, oh man, remember that 2017?
Yeah.
Remember that 2021? I hear that on Cigar Clowns, and it's just like you see them in the groups. Hey, has anybody got any of these? I'm like, yeah, bro. Those are 3 years ago. Good luck ever finding one of those again.
Yeah.
You know, but then as the opposite, you see the cigar companies that they'll come out with, like an LE, and it goes out gangbusters, and everybody wants it, and then they're like, oh shit, like maybe we can, you know, maybe we can keep doing this, and it's just like you guys see how that goes. You know, people were like, you know, they get all excited, then they get the next batch, and like,
No bueno.
This doesn't taste the same at all. You know, then they come out with, well, you know, it's a hand rolled organic product. You know,
It was the rainy season.
Yeah, I know, and it's just like, listen, it was a money grab. You saw how well it did. You tried to put one over, and then it gives you a little bit of a black eye, because the next time, you know, it comes out, and then they try that shit again. Like, hey, you guys remember that, you know, and they fuck that up, and you know, like then they don't buy it, and that's it.
Supreme Leaf. It's been horrible for years. This year, fantastic.
Yeah,
I mean, I had to say it on social media for me to be able to get people to buy it. You know, a lot of my followers are like, "Hey, how is it? How is it?" I go, "Dude, this year they did it. They did a good job." Well, the last, you know, 3-4 releases were horrible. I go, I know they really were, but this year they hit it the nail on the head. You know, and I know that's tough, because it's, you know, so you buy them this year, and it's like the next year comes out, and I know Aganorsa's they've struggled a little bit. Yes,
you know, they you know, Charlie said it last year on his Consensus Live, and he goes, hey, this is like one of the few years that there hasn't been an Aganorsa. And Charlie's like, Aganorsa's had some issues. And he goes, that's not me saying it. It's not Half Wheel. He goes, that's our viewers. That's our subscribers, our followers. That's them saying it, that there's been some issues. And you've seen that with some people dipping from the factory, you know, so. And that's why I, you know, as soon as I smoked that Russian Bear, and I was like, this is good. And that's the thing about Cigar Clowns, is every time they come out with something that's a limited release, followers, they know it's going to be good. Well, it's because you can trust them, because they're just, you know, and that's why, and the same reason why people trust me. I get the DMs all the time, you know, hey, I'm a mechanic too. I'm just a regular dude. Hey, thanks for making this product or making this cigar. Yeah. You know, it's really good. I'm like, yeah, I just make what I like. You know, I don't give a fuck what everybody else wants. You know, Steve Saka says the same thing. You know, other manufacturers like, oh, let's try and blend what the consumer. Fuck the consumer. You know, there's, you know, I don't want to say fuck the consumer, but you know, there's, you know, they say there's
good soundbite, Kev, for the
3 to 5 million cigar smokers out there. You know, like, okay, so I'm like, even a 1/10 of 1%. If those people were just like me and like the cigars, I'm gonna do good. You know, so I'm gonna make it for myself, because I know there's probably 10,000 other people that are just like me, that are just going to buy that cigar. So I blend for myself. And well, also to defend that is that if you're a veteran smoker, you know what is a good cigar, right? Yeah. So if you're going to go, I mean, there's a lot of new cigars I smoke, and this is just because of, you know, it's got a household brand name. They're just going to ride the curtails of the household brand name, and they'll sell them, because a lot of people that smoke cigars don't know what a really good cigar is. So when we start educating people that come to my shop, and I teach them and I tell them, and I'm like, this has, you know, Corojo 99. And they're like, well, what's Corojo 99? I'm like, oh my God. So I got to sit there and explain it to them. And I'm like, when you taste it, do you taste this? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, what? That's Corojo. He's like, oh, I love Corojo. I'm like, well, so now when you go and you start reading about cigars, and you look at the, you know, the wrapper, the filler, the binder, if they put that stuff in there, and you hear Corojo, go try one. And if it doesn't taste good, then that blend really stinks. So you know that, you know, they just didn't do a really good job. Now here's another thing too. A brand comes out with a new cigar, right? They come out with Robusto, Corona, double Corona, 6x60, 7x70.
this is the part that's kind of tough for me. I have me as a career cigar purveyor. I have to smoke every single vitola because maybe the Corona is the best in this cigar, like the Guardian of the Farm Apollo. That's like a Lonsdale Corona.
Yeah.
That cigar is the best in that size. I smoked other sizes. It doesn't even taste like the same cigar. It just doesn't. But in that one, so in my shop, when you come, and if you want Guardian and Farm, if I have it and I only have Apollo size, and some guy goes, "Oh, you don't have the Toro?" I'm like, "Nah, it's not good." "What do you mean it's not good? Have you ever tried the Apollo?" They're like, "No, I don't do small ring gauge cigars." I'm like, "Well, this cigar in the Apollo is where it's at." "Really?" They try it. They're like, and they believe me. And now I have a follower. Now I create that culture that starts knowing what a good cigar is. And hence what you're saying to defend, when you make a good cigar and you know it's good for you, is because you have that palate is a very good cigar. So if you make something, people trust your taste buds. Like if Kevin comes out with something good, I know I'm going to like it because he knows good cigars. I don't like Sumatra. Okay. Lately, I've been smoking a lot of Sumatra because I have to start learning why people like Sumatra. And what I had learned by smoking so much of it is I puff too fast. On the show, I'm smoking slow. But when I'm smoking by myself, I smoke too fast. And Sumatra, when you start hotboxing it, it gets bitter, sour. It's nasty. But
that's why I hated it.
But if you baby it, you kind of take care of it, let it cool down. I'm not saying massage it, but just kind of slow down your roll. It's a really good tobacco, and it mimics Cuban tobacco behavior a lot. So that's kind of maybe why Pete uses Sumatra a lot. My father, I don't know, but I'm assuming these are assumptions I'm starting to, gathering. And next time I see Pete, maybe he'll be transparent with me. Maybe he'll ask me if I answer me if I have that right question. So now I'm starting to learn more as why, Sumatra is being used. One more, I'm getting long-winded.
No.
Noblesse by what is it? Mi Aroma de Cuba. It's a $20 cigar. I smoked it. It was good. But you know what it reminds me of? Is the Cojonio 2012 Sumatra by Tatuaje. And that's a $12 or $13 cigar. So a customer came in, he's like, "Oh, you don't have Noblesse?" I'm like, "Nah, I don't want to carry 15 facings of their product just to get Noblesse because I can't get it." Like, "Oh," I'm like, "It's $20." I go, "Try the Cojonio 2012. I go, it's the same factory. It's made by my father." They're like, "Oh, it is?" I'm like, "Yeah, look at the bottom of the box of the La Aroma de Cuba. It says made at my father's factory." The guy looked, he's like, "Oh my God, you're right." I just gained a follower, and he's like, "Why? You know your cigars?" I'm like, "Well, because I have to smoke a lot of cigars to know that knowledge." And so now the guy buys Cojonio 2012 Sumatras or Capa Especial, whatever it's called, and that's it. Now he only has to spend $12 rather than $20.
I just want to, if it's cool, I just want to jump in here real quick. I want to follow up what Gerard was saying, because I actually got a funny story about Sumatra. So the Rodeo Clown is an Ecuadorian Sumatra. And when we first got the blend and we put the blend together, it was rolled in a 6x50, and we released it with the OGT Society with our Festivus that we come out with every year, a couple of years back. To test it, throw it out there. It was like a little extra thing that we had. We had some tobacco, and we put it out there. And we wanted to get some feedback on what people thought about it. And we enjoyed it. We liked it because, listen, at the end of the day, we do the rigorous process of testing your cigars. We're not just putting out cigars just to put out cigars. Long story short, I have a very good relationship with Tony Barrios of Stione Cigars, and we asked him, said, "Listen, we got the Sumatra blend that we like, but we feel like there's a couple of things missing. Could you take it and just kind of work with it a little bit and see what you can do with it?" Okay, fine. Gave us a bunch of different sizes. We ended up, and what Gerard was just touching on, with some specific sizes, the blend is 10 times better. It was good in the 50, but in the 54, and what he did with this blend blew it out of the water. And me, like Gerard was saying, I hated it. It's a funny story because Joe talks about it all the time. I hated Sumatra. Hated it. And I think now that Gerard is saying, smoked it too fast. Sometimes I smoke cigars too fast. And I'm like, this is terrible. He's like, he said to me that he sent me the test. I'm like, this is not for me. I'm like, if you guys like it and you want to put it out, we want to put it out, and you think it's going to go good, fine. But me personally, I'm not a fan. It's not my. It's like smoke it again. Smoked it again. I was like, maybe I'm having a bad day. I'll give it a couple of days. I won't smoke, and I'll smoke it again. Long story short, the third time I smoked it, because I always my rule of 3 is I got to smoke the cigar at least 3 times. Smoked it. And I was like, all right, now I see what you're talking about. And then having somebody like Tony come in and blend the cigar for us and get it to almost perfection, we think we've built our reputation as the clowns, and and Gerard said it, trusting what we do. I mean, we built our reputation on trust, not power. We're going to give you something that's you're going to enjoy. We're not just in it to make money. Then that we're passionate about the leaf. We love the industry. We love, cigars, and we're not just going to put out a product to get a couple of dollars in the bank account and continue to build the business. We're going to make sure that cigar is going to be loved by everybody. And Gerard also spoke on it earlier. There's been plenty of times throughout the course of our inception from back in 2020 that we've sold out cigars in 24 hours. We've broken credit card machines and websites have gone down, and because of that FOMO that we put out there, and to come out with something like the Dancing Bear, which was a 5x50 when we first put it out, and Gerard had that conversation like we talked about with Joe, and doing it in a different size and coming it out with in a 54x6 in a Toro size. Russian and Transylvanian tobacco in the filler, and it's undisclosed. The binder is Nicaragua with a couple undisclosed tobaccos in it, and the wrapper is that I'm in New York. I butcher it all the time. Arapicara Clara. I'm so good. You want to abuse me for it? I don't care.
Yeah,
yeah. So yeah.
So where's it being made at?
That's our one of our master blenders that we work close with. The Ish and Banff Cigars is the master blender behind that project.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, good old
man. Good old Ish, man. He knocked it out of the park.
It's funny when you talk about Sumatra. I was like that, and I still am with Habano.
Yeah.
And Habano, if the issue is I've had some Habanos, and if you have the wrong Habanos, it's very sour and turns you off because of the improper fermentation. So for the longest time, I had a very bad view and steered clear of Habano, and then you smoke a good cigar, it'll be a good Habano. Who knows what they know what they're doing. The blend is perfect, the fermentation is perfect. But I had gone through several different cigar brands that featured a Habano that was just so sour. I'd light it, I'd take a couple puffs, and I'd throw it out the window.
Yeah.
But you got to know what you're looking for.
Yeah, and like Aganorsa, they have a cigar called La Validación. The Validación, the humid pack, if you buy it, has 5 cigars in it, right? It has La Validación Maduro, Corojo, Habano, Connecticut, and then what's another one? I think it's just 4. Excuse me, there's 4, right? The Connecticut, dog. It just doesn't. It's nasty, right? And the Habano, no bueno at all. But in the Corojo and Maduro, in the Corojo, it's the best for me. Now here's the deal.
I love that Corojo.
Right. So here's the deal. It's called a universal blend. What it is the filler and the binder is all the same, so their production cost is the same. So whenever they bring that generic tobacco, the use of that tobacco is always going to be the same exhaustion. So therefore, whenever they go buy tobacco, they're like, I need a ton of this, 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 and we're going to make all the cigars. Now, all we're going to do is the difference is just the wrapper is going to be different, right? Well, the Connecticut may not taste good, but the market wants a Connecticut and the Validación. So for the Connecticut guys, we're just going to make a Connecticut and we're going to throw it out there. But it doesn't mean it's good. That's why you have to smoke almost every single cigar that they make to find that pinnacle of the sweet spot. And what is it called again?
La Validación.
La Validación. Corojo Maduro. That's it. Other than that, I'm not interested. The rep comes in, we don't care Connecticut because it sucks. I'll only do Corojo and Maduro and La Validación. That's where this cigar is good. So, and they're like, well, we do this so therefore people will know what wrapper they like. I'm like, well, that's a mispresentation of a Connecticut on La Validación blend. A Connecticut should not be blended with this kind of filler and binder. You should really focus on blending the cigar according to the flavor profile of what the wrapper offers, right? And that's where boutique stuff comes in. It's blended according to the flavor profile of the wrapper. So, but at the same time, I get what they're trying to do. You can't knock them for doing what they're doing. They're running an operation. At the end of the day, it's all about the numbers, right?
Makes sense.
The bills. So, and
line them up and wrap them up.
Yeah, and that's the beauty about cigars. You go, you educated, you watch shows like this, we discuss, and you get into the subculture, you get geeky, and you start having a very, very good collection of cigars that can just go in, and no matter what you grab out of your humidor, you're going to like it because you've done your homework.
Yeah,
so Ray,
No,
I'm
go
sorry,
ahead.
Kev. I just wanted real quick. Des Hammond messaged me and said that he made a comment earlier. We didn't see it. That he's giving a big shout out to Ray. Des
Oh.
Hammond Cigar
My boy
Cabin
Des
out
from across the pond.
across
Yeah.
the pond, all prim and proper.
You want to talk about a tax on cigars? Oh, you know,
Yeah, no shit.
and did you just read about the European Union wants 1,000% tax on tobacco? That's what they just introduced their legislation. Now, whether it's going to pass or not, it's got to go through so many channels. I really don't know how the EU works, but tobacco and vape that they want. So if you're a member of the EU, you know, and this passes, it's 1,000% tax.
Yeah.
Talk about socialist countries.
Yeah,
Getting,
you know, like
into that, getting that Australia, New Zealand freaking taxes. I was blown away when I was shipping Stogie Road down there, and I was like, how much is that fucking cigar? $60, $70? It's a freaking $8.99, $9.99 cigar here in the States. You go to Australia or New Zealand, you know, you're getting taxed on weight, and it's absurd.
Mm-hmm.
it is. I just had a company out in Australia send me it's a cigar lounge. They have some cigars being made for them, and they just sent me a box, and I'm like, God, you know, that's an expensive endeavor. I don't know how they survive. How do you go into a lounge and spend $60, $70 on just a regular cigar? You know, then you
cigar
take
and a drink, $100.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, and you take a $20 cigar, you know, now you can be $100, $150 for a cigar. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know, one of those guys, you know, sneak them into the country as any way they can. But Ray,
candlesticks.
Yeah. I had a company in England. They couldn't, and as a friend of a friend, he's like, I can't send it to you from here. So he sent it to a box of the cigars to his buddy that owns a bookstore in Scotland. So in a box within a box, and he's like, okay, open this box and then just put it back out in your mail. You know, and it was you know, then it had to come to me by that way, you know, just so I can get it. But Ray, you mentioned about different sizes. When you guys are coming out with a new cigar, do you kind of have an idea of what you want, or do you like, hey, you know, how does that work? Like when you're coming out with a new, you know, after 37 releases, like, do you guys have an idea? Do you have a size in mind? How does that whole process go for you guys? And are you blending in multiple sizes until you figure it out?
I think the best answer I can give you on that is it depends on a couple of things, right? For us, sometimes, you know, we are, you know, ready to, you know, kind of, you know, put something into production, and we have a band concept that we like, and we're going to try to, you know, use the band concept for a particular, you know, cigar, and we would work through the different sizes. The blenders will send us sizes in a particular, if they have something that they say, hey, this is something I think you'd be interested in, this is kind of fit your, you know, your forte of what you guys like, we're going to send you a couple of samples, or we'll ask for specific things. So we used to do what they call Taste Tester Tuesday on our YouTube channel, and we used to have a distinguished panel. Boston Jimmy used to be on there, a lot of our old school, you know, followers. Des used to be a part of it. Speaking of Des, shout out to Des. And we would do a Taste Tester Tuesday. So whatever blends we were getting from the factory, we would send to them, and we would go on our YouTube channel, and we would have a Taste Tester Tuesday, and we would all smoke the same cigar, and we would all give our feedback. Excuse me. And funny enough, 2 of those blends that we tested on those Taste Tester Tuesdays became Cigar Clown cigars because of those panels. One is the Roadies, which we did a cigar for our roadies, who were the guys who started with us, following back when we started in, you know, the early days. And oh my God, the Heartbreaker, which was another cigar that we tested that everybody loved, that we put out as a limited run that we had gotten to back on. So it varies. Sometimes we have stuff presented to us and saying, hey, we know your guys, how you guys roll, which is, again, attributes to the relationship that we've built with our blenders and our factories that we deal with, that know what we're looking for, and we'll say, hey, well, we got this tobacco, you want to try this, and we'll roll it, we'll blend it with a couple of different things with the same wrapper or the different wrapper, and we'll send them up to you, and what do you think about this, and what do you think about that? And if we find something, let's say we find a cigar like the Rodeo Clown, We love it in the 54. Send us a couple more so we could smoke them through and kind of give our final approval on it. We go through that rigorous process, like I said earlier, to make sure that the blend that we're going to bring to the table, that our fans and our shops and everybody's going to love it and appreciate it. And so then going back to that trust our palate thing. So yeah, we go through a couple of different variations of how we kind of work things and how we do things. Again, we do Festivus every year for Christmas. We wanted to be a little bit different in the industry. Instead of doing a Halloween stick, we decided to do a Christmas stick. So we this is going to be our 5th year. It's our 5th anniversary for the Festivus coming out at the end of the year. We do a different blend for it every single year. We've had different blenders, work on it, and we kind of, flop around because we don't work with just one factory. We let our blenders and our factories know that we work with a lot of different people in the industry, and we have a lot of friends in the industry, a lot of people that and a lot of people that you don't know. So for us, to having those resources and being able to get the tobacco that we source, whether it's through, we kind of average anywhere between young tobacco and 3 to 5 years age, sometimes a little bit more than that, depending on the tobacco that we can source with the blenders that we work with. But yeah, I mean, it's a rigorous process. We're constantly, testing and smoking. I have a bunch of testers. I actually have the bag inside that Danny just sent me that we just got up from the DR that I got a sample, for upcoming projects that are coming. There are projects like the Rodeo Clan that sat for over 1.5 years before we released it because we wanted to make sure that the tobacco's married and everything was all good. And everything was copacetic and it was going to be, the blend needed to be where it was going to be with the aging process and stuff like that. So yeah, that's kind of like a little bit of an insight from behind the scenes of how we work our blends. And I think it's been pretty successful. A lot of people said to us early on, you have 6 owners, you have 6 people that are giving their input on us. How do you guys, decide on what you're going to put out? And I think for us, it's an advantage because you have 6 different mindsets of who thinks what and who thinks. Now, listen, I can tell you right now, as a co-founder and as an owner of the brand, out of all those 37 releases, have I loved every single one? No. Do I have my favorites? Of course. But we always tell people, what's your favorite stick? The next one that's coming out.
So Ray, I got a question for you because that's the most words I've heard anybody ever say without breathing. I thought Kevin was really.
Oh, dude, this is bro. I'm a pro. I'm a pro.
I thought Kevin was.
I get my balls broken about it all the time.
I was like, holy shit!
I have good lung capacity.
You're breathing through your skin.
That's true, by the way. Go ahead.
But so you deal with different factories, different countries, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any tobaccos that you like working with in specific countries? Because I know, you can get, Habano Maduro anywhere. You get it shipped in. But are there certain tobaccos that you like working with that are in Nicaragua versus the Dominican Republic or Honduras or wherever else that you're working?
If you're asking me on a personal level and not speaking for the brand as a whole, yeah,
I don't care about the 500. I don't care about the 500 guys. I got the one guy. I'm asking you.
I'm a San Andreas guy all day, man. That's my leaf. Yeah. I love San Andreas. I love Nicaraguan tobacco. I love it. I don't hate on certain countries of tobacco, like Transylvanian tobacco. What?
Yeah,
Russian tobacco. What? What do you mean? Send it to us. What is this all about? And again, Gerard can attest to it. It's different. I think that's something that kind of separates us, right? We're trying to do things a little different. We're a small fish in the pond, but we're trying to do things differently. So for me, if you're asking me personally on an everyday in and out, I want to get punched in the face. I want to cry. I want my sinuses to burn. I want pepper bomb. I'm a full body at 6 o'clock in the morning type of guy. Doesn't matter.
Which cigars have Transylvanian tobacco in it? Since we're talking,
which cigars?
Yeah, which one of your blends have Transylvania in it?
The Russian Bear.
Russian Bear.
Russian Bear's got Russian and Transylvanian tobacco, and there's a couple of undisclosed, aged tobacco in there too that we didn't release. But yeah, Russian and Transylvanian tobacco in this blend that's coming out for the exclusive.
Is that your first time you've worked with Transylvanian tobacco?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And you said it a couple times.
You only smoke it at night?
Yeah.
You know what's funny? You say that, Kerr? I'm going to make you laugh, right? Remember we just talked about the whole Halloween
Sometimes my
thing?
jokes, Kevin. It takes a while to get the mark.
No, I appreciate it. No, hear me out. I appreciate it. I originally, when we were talking about it, the Dancing Bear wasn't even a thing at the point. When we found out there was Transylvanian tobacco, and I'm like, yo, let's do something like horror theme. I love horror. I'm a horror guy. I love horror films. I love everything horror. Graphic novel, love it. It's like, yo, Transylvanian tobacco. We could do like this. And, we thought about it.
Everybody knows that Russian Bear horror movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, I mean, we kind of toured around and we talked about it for a while, and we kind of we wanted to do we kind of wanted it to Russian Bear Circus, something different. Again, trying to do something different, and trying to do something a little bit unique, right? And so, and we wanted to make it like this cool, you guys seen the logo concept, this cool like Russian bear wearing jewelry, and he's like, oh, like, it's fun to work with tobaccos that you don't really hear about. And again, you can say, oh, you can get the cigar and say it fucking sucks. All right, it's not for you, but I think when we tried it for the first time and we were kind of curating it and kind of, getting rid, and we smoked it a bunch of times, I'm like, this thing just hits differently. It's a unique blend. It's something different. And again, I think that speaks to the boutique industry as a whole, right? And going back to that blue collar comment I made earlier, it's something different that we're trying to bring to the table, more so than anybody else's. And I think sometimes it, for us, fortunate enough, it's worked for us.
And Ish is making that one, right? The Russian bear.
Yeah.
So.
The wizard. It's you're talking about the way it's important to trust the manufacturer.
Absolutely.
And what they're, we've got Risty, on here, and I did a cigar with Risty, and they've done some with James at Sinistro and Omar at Fratello. You got to trust what they're doing, and that's it. Because I'm not a master blender. I'm sure none of us here.
Neither am I.
Master. I don't try. People feel like, oh, how did you come up with a concept for that? For like this one, I don't know. James at Sinistro, he knows me, knows the cigars that I like smoking. He's like, hey, I've got in his little blend book or whatever. Hey, I got this cigar. I think you would like it. It's really good. I'm like, if you think it's good, yeah, that's all I need, bro. And that's it.
There's a big
that's
trust factor there. And like
yeah.
they got to be reputable.
Absolutely.
They got to be trustworthy. And the names that you're mentioning, whether it's James, Omar, Ish, Risty, they're all guys who take pride in what they do, and they're trustworthy.
That's it. Some of these guys, you got everybody here knows. There are just factories. It's like, oh, I just want a really good. Oh, I'll get you something good, and it's just whatever. It's what are you really getting? You're getting someone else's cigar. You're getting a cigar. They're hoping that you really don't know what you're doing. And you just get the cigar. So
yeah, you get the shit tobacco, or you get the shit tobacco when they tell you that it's prime tobacco, and it's listen, I may be a gringo, but I know I got a pretty decent palate, and I can tell when it's good tobacco, when it's not so good tobacco.
I can tell when I get a sample and I smoke that cigar and half the part of the cigar is black and the rest of the ash is white. You kind of know that it's fucking shit tobacco.
Yeah.
So that's it. But at the end of the day, well, it didn't fermentate right or whatever the case may be. And you tell them, hey, listen, blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay. And then, and then you go on from there. But yeah, no, I totally agree with that. You have to trust the people that you work with. And we are humbled enough to work with great manufacturers, great blenders, and great shops. That's one thing that I will stand by as a brand owner, that we get such great support from people like Gerard and other people in the industry, and believe in what we're doing and we're bringing it to the table. And like I said, Kerr, you have to have that trust factor with who you're working with day in and day out, getting on calls, talking to people, making sure it's, shit's moving where it needs to go, and getting samples up and doing this and that. And by God's grace, we've been very lucky.
I got a shipment, a whole shipment of cigars, 1,500 cigars, all made with moldy tobacco.
No shit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jennifer walked through the door, my wife, and had to run to the window to get fresh air because it smelled of mold in the house, because I had about 3 bundles open, just smelling them and cutting them open. You could see the mold.
Man, I had one cigar that that I got an order in of a couple thousand, and the first one, something was wrong. Second one, something was wrong. Third one, I sent them out to some other people, like, man, something's wrong with this cigar, and reached out to the manufacturer and like, send us this, and they dissected it and they're like, fuck, that's our bad. Put the wrong binder on it. Send them all back. Send them all back. We own this.
That's a good factory. That's a good partner.
Going to take care of the bands. Going to take care of this. That was our bad, because we blended the cigar. Somebody read something wrong. Our bad.
Yeah. I'll tell you another quick story as far as trust is concerned, and what Kerr was talking about. We had an allotment of cigars that came into the country, and long story short, they got seized. The paperwork was wrong coming out of the DR. There was issues with it. We got a phone call. They said, listen, we're transferring your cigars to Kentucky. They're going to be in a secure facility. If you don't figure out to get the shit right in 24 hours, they're getting destroyed. A whole, I'm talking about thousands of cigars, thousands of cigars. And that was actually our Festivus, which we didn't get to release the year, not this past year, the year prior in 2023. We couldn't release it until January because it got so held up. So Joe called Ish, I'm in a jam. You know, I don't know what to do. This is that. He goes, I'll call you back in a little bit. Calls Joe back. He goes, their cigars are being moved from Kentucky to my facility down here in Florida, and I'm going to ship them up to you as soon as I get them. So again, trusting the people that you work with, and having a friendship with someone who will go out of their way to do something for you like that and help you out in a bind like that, we're going to lose thousands of dollars. Again, it speaks volume to the people that you work with.
Oh yeah. You don't hear excuses right away. I mean, that's why I like to work with the factory I have now with Chris. You know, in Nicaragua. You know, trustworthy. And again, if there's a fuck up, you know, not only are the cigars handmade, but there's you know, what is it, 300 hands, but any possibility that could happen from point A to point Z, you know, from the moment, you know, at the even at the farmers level, all the way till you get them at your facility or at your house or wherever you're storing and you're distributing from. Anything could happen, and the more excuses you hear along the way, the more it's like, well, I gotta reevaluate those people who I'm doing business with.
Yeah, you know? I always ask for my cigars to be rolled on Wednesday. I'm a mechanic. I don't want a Monday car, and I don't want a Friday car. I also don't want a Monday cigar or a Friday cigar. And make sure they're rolling my shit on Wednesday.
Timestamp.
Yeah, that's it. Gerard, I mean, do you have any horror stories like that from the Jake Wyatt days of just, you know, shipments or just issues?
That is something that I'm hated for. So I wouldn't say I'm a kind of guy that sees the cup halfway full, but when I see something wrong, I'm like stink on poo, man. I will not stop talking about and complaining and just something is not right. No, it's not right. It's not right. It's not right. It's not right. And I just, yeah, it happens and you got to make it right. And that's the thing is that with cigars, if you don't work with a good manufacturer that's willing to, you know, look at their side of the street to really rectify the issue, you have a problem there. And some of these factories you walk into that you want a cigar, they won't make you a blend that you want. They're like, look, this is our signature way of how we do things, and we'll just send you samples of what we do, and whatever you like, you pick it. And I'm like, well, that's not going to work for me. So you walk away from that factory. They've made cigars that are incredible, but I don't want the same signature flavor that you already have. The masses already, you know, tasted. That it's not unique anymore. So there's a lot of factories I love to work with, but they're not going to make you a blend that's out of their wheelhouse. That's just not what they do. So
and I understand that, you know, because at the end of the day, you know, their name is going on the packaging.
Yes.
You know, I've got a couple cigar ideas, you know, that I want to do for like next year. And, you know, the one factory's like, you're not allowed to use our name. And I'm like, I understand that, you know, it's something, you know, something like, I won't say where, I won't say it's either a stupid name, you know, or something else. Kerr and I had that when we did the Silent Green, you know, with the Candela and the filler. You know, I had one factory owner's like, yeah, that's not the traditional way of making cigars. And like you guys, basically, like you guys are assholes for even wanting like this cigar. Like made me feel like shit. That
we're not asking you to make it for free, you know. That's the problem. It's like, fuck you, I'm gonna pay you. Yeah.
So James Sinistro ended up making that cigar, and he's like, bro, that's dumb, you know, like you know. But he goes, I like it. So he started rolling some samples, and then he called me and he goes, this is pretty fucking good, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like this is a good cigar, and I'm like, that's all we wanted. We just wanted someone to see our vision, you know. So
I've been working with James since 2018.
Oh, really? That long?
Oh yeah. I mean, that's when we launched the TNT with them, the 2018.
Oh we
came in a crate.
Yeah, we picked up. I just smoked that cigar that we picked up from your shop, like 5 years ago. I found it in the humidor not too long ago. I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe we have, we picked up a few of them.
Was that the one that I sent you a picture of, Kevin? I found in Oklahoma City.
Yeah, with the red.
Yeah,
the red.
Yeah. That was what
I bought a box of that
several months ago. I was in Oklahoma City and stopped at a cigar shop, and they had one in there. They had a box.
And James is a true craftsman when it comes to cigars. I love James. He will not stop until he hits that cigar the way he wants it. He'll work and work and work.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gotten a lot of arguments with a lot of master blenders from factories. Like, well, this is not what I want. This is no, you got to do this and do this. And he points. And that guy is a pile driver until he gets what he wants.
And he won't release a cigar until it's ready. I remember my first cigar I did with them, and it was just it was overdue. I mean, and I wasn't rushing, but it was overdue. And he goes, the cigar's just not ready yet. I'm smoking through every time I go down there. It's just not ready. So and then one day he calls me up and he's like, I think it's ready, but you know what? So his boy Henderson Ventura, he's like, I'm gonna have Henderson come over, and so Henderson smoked a couple, and he's like, you know what? You're right. The cigar is ready, and that's what James is all about. He's just until the cigar is done, you're not getting it. Don't care. I'm supposed to go down there. I was supposed to go down there a couple of weeks ago to pick up the my new cigar down in Miami, pick them up, and then they just weren't ready yet. And he's the type that will apologize over and over again. I go, bro, no, there's no apology. Like when the cigar is done, because I want to be able to sell it when it comes in, and that's what James is gonna get you at Sinistro. When you get it, it's done. It's ready to go. It's been aged to what it needs to be. Everything is married, and you're good to go.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how you describe him as Gerard as a pile driver and how he is, but when you meet him in person, you see him. You don't see that physically, but man, he is a freaking firecracker. That guy.
Yeah, no, he is a very strong-willed individual who does a very good job, and it's not easy to be that person, right? So you get greats of this world, right? Nobody liked Steve Jobs. Nobody liked working with him, but look what he created, right? So it takes a certain type of personality that people don't like to bring the greatness out of you. And then at the end, you got a great product. Nobody liked, Bill Gates, but look who he is, right? Nobody likes working with him, but look what he produced. So to get the greatness out of you, he's going to be poking areas in your personality or character that you don't want to really tap into. But when you are teachable and you're willing to be a student and learn something, then you realize, oh, wow, he's great, and it's like, well, yeah, it's not easy being great. If it was so easy, everybody would be great. But that's why the word great exists. It takes a certain type of character, and James is great at making sure you get what you want, or at least he delivers what he believes it should be delivered at. So
yeah, Ray, have you guys worked with Sinistro yet?
We know James. We haven't worked with him now.
Okay. Yeah, great. And I think everything he's doing is at Artista now.
Yeah.
I think he left La Aurora, which is good. La Aurora makes fantastic cigars, but on the boutique level, it was just, I know it was getting harder to work with them. Especially for, like I said, some of our smaller batches. Some of these factories, they don't want to make 2,000 cigars. Like it's just, man, it's not worth our time. And I completely understand that. When you have a company like that, and they got they got to stop rolling their whatever for their $100,000 100,000 stick order, to bang out 2,000 cigars. It's just the setup and everything else. So I completely understand that. Never will fault a company that doesn't want to do.
And El Artista is no joke. I mean, when it comes to cigar making, maybe they probably don't make the best cigars. I'll admit, I've had some of their stuff. Other than the Buffalo 10, I've never liked anything they make. But
I love everything.
Really?
Everything that comes out of Artista.
But the tobaccos that they have, dude, I mean, they have a lot of tobacco. We're talking about tons and tons. You walk into a barn and it's just filled to the roof bales of tobacco, things I've never seen in my life. I was like, wow. So Ram is a big player when it comes to wholesaling tobacco in the Dominican. So him being at El Artista has really given him the reins to really do what he wants to do. And he goes in there and he blends himself. He's doing a very good job. So thank you, Ram, for giving James the free reins to do what he's doing, because he's doing some fantastic stuff. We're going to be working with a new, with something with James pretty soon here too as well.
Yeah,
so,
we're gonna try, or at least I'm gonna try and get down there this year, and go down there and see those guys. And Ray, have you guys been down to the factories? Nicaragua, DR, anywhere yet? Or
Joe was in the DR last week.
Oh, really? Oh, well, right on.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Joe's been down there a couple of times over the past couple of years. Yeah, I haven't gotten down there yet, but he's been down there. Yeah, we've been down.
Yeah, I can't wait. I want to visit Honduras, Nicaragua. Not so much Nicaragua. I mean, there's a lot of Nicaragua's not always the state. Maybe Honduras. The DR. I'm gonna start with the DR. Kind of. It's really still South. It's still South Florida.
Just don't drink the bottled water.
That's it.
I've been to the DR at least 11 times.
Oh, really?
You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it, dude.
It's great. It's been a while since I've been there.
Great place. The food is cheap. Accommodations are cheap. People love you. They want American dollars. They are a nation that's an ally of the United States. So to do business in the DR, they welcome it, and they make it a lot easier for Americans to do business down there.
There are a lot of good factories down there too.
And there's a lot of tobacco. You can get Nicaraguan tobacco down in the DR. Probably not as good if you were in Nicaragua. You can get your hands, reach further, but you still can get Nicaraguan tobacco if you got the right connections.
Yeah, we got a friend in the cigar business. He owns his own brand. He's got a Gerald Nomos. He has a condo down there. So he's like, when you're ready to go, he goes, let me know. My car's in the garage, and you're good to go. So I'm like, fuck yeah, you get a free car and a free place, to stay. Yeah. So definitely. Gerard, so for years you're with Jake Wyatt. You're the boutique cigar brand owner. You guys are hitting the pavements. You guys are trying to get into lounges. Now, you're in the lounge full time. How often are you getting hit up for like the boutique cigar owners, like coming in? I know Abe, my boy Jeff at Corona, Executive, they're all, every day, like there's another boutique brand owner trying to get in, hitting in the DMs, coming in. Is that?
Well, we are 98% online, right? So I don't really get much visits from reps, thank God, because I'm so busy all day doing content, taking pictures, things of that nature. But I do get phone calls. And for me, if it's a boutique brand, I take a look at the infrastructure, right? Again, do you have social media presence? What is your footprint in the United States? Who distributes your product? Are you a cigar that is being made in a garage, or is it being made in a factory? And when it comes into the United States, are you paying the S-chips, the tariffs, all that stuff? And do you have a distribution in the United States? So do you actually exist as a business in the United States? That's the number one thing, right? Because we got to be sure that you're legit. And then after that, I got to taste the cigar, right? And then what is the price of the cigar? And then I look at the packaging. That's the way I decipher if I'm going to bring in a cigar. Recently, I was in California, and I went to a lounge to conduct some business. And the lounge owner is going to be a distributor of a boutique brand. And when I looked at the box, I was like, oh, I already know the roller. He's like, whoa. I'm like, is it this guy? He's like, yeah, how'd you know? I've been doing this a long time. I can just tell by looking at the cigar, looking at the name, the way the package looks, everything. I just knew who it was. And he said, well, try it. And I smoked it 2 nights ago, and it's a no-go for me because it just didn't taste right. I don't care if it's $2. It's just not going to happen. So yeah, I do get hit up a lot. A lot of guys, please just put it on your website. And if you just put it on your website, people will believe you. Well, yeah, but it's just not going to work because I know what my followers want, and this is not going to work out. HDA is a new one.
There you go.
Hermanos de Armas. I saw them 2 years ago or a year ago. I wasn't really so sure about it. I didn't even get any samples. Then I heard who makes it. I was like, okay, it's a reputable factory.
Yeah.
Then I asked who does the distribution, and then I asked for some samples. They're $14 a stick. I thought it was a little high, but I said I have to smoke the cigars. If you want to charge me for samples, charge me for samples, but I have to smoke it. And then I started seeing also all over social media, and I like their following. I like what they're representing. I like their look, their image. And I smoked it, and I was really, really hooked on the cigars. I couldn't believe it. So I tried the Habano. I was like, this is really good. Let me see what the Maduro is all about. It was another really good cigar. And then I was like, okay, what else do they have? They have a Ecuadorian Sangre. I smoked that one. So they have 3 blends, only one size. I was like, every single cigar they make is really, really good, right? So I'm definitely going to bring it in, and I'm starting pushing it really, really hard because it's a good cigar. And I want my consumers to get a hold of a very, very good cigar at a very good price point. To me, it's like 12 to 13 bucks. 14, is it doable? Yes. And will I push it? Yep. And I'm pushing it hard because I believe in the guys. I believe in what they're doing. And the support is there, right? If they're a box that's canoeing or funneling or whatever you want to call it, at least I have a US based phone number I can call, and I can talk to somebody that can speak English, because I need that support. I need you to take care of this problem. And if that is established, then we're rock and roll. Let's go, and that's how I decipher if I'm going to bring in a brand or not.
How many people, when you start asking them that question about S-chip and everything else, are like,
there's a lot, because one of the I wouldn't say it's a headache, but it's a challenge. I get DMs a lot from places all around the world, right? So I get guys from DR a lot, and they use Google Translator, and they want me to bring in their brand. And I ask them, well, how are you going to bring it in? Well, I don't know. I was wondering if you can help me. Like, dude, I can't. You got to do the legwork yourself. But it's not my job to bring in your product to the United States, But there's a part of me that kicks in. I got to be a helper. So I tell them, hey, call. Was it that distributor down here, Fort Myers, La Palma, or something like that?
Yeah, they just
Palm City.
Or Palm City.
Yeah, so I tell them, hey, talk to Palm City, see if they'll bring in your product. They'll do all the paperwork for you. If not, you can talk to Andrew Woods from Tabacos Mundial. These are the guys that you need to talk to first. Get your product in, make sure the taxes are paid, and then we'll go from there. Other than that, I'm not touching the product. Even if it's amazing, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not licensed to bring in your product. I'm not an importer.
It's not. Yeah, it's definitely not your job too. Yeah. And then some of these price points, of like Ray, what is your most expensive cigar that you guys have ever produced?
That's a great question. That's a question for Joe, to be honest with you. That's the business side of it. I couldn't even answer that for you. I have no idea, to be honest.
Okay. Because we see it all. These boutique, some of these new boutiques, they're launching with these $20, $25, $30 cigars, and it's just like what? Like there was a guy last year at PCA, not this one that just passed this year, but 2024. Right. His debut, he came with one cigar, cigar, and it was like $35 or $40. Who the fuck's buying this? How are you? Who are you selling these to? You're a company that just started, and that's your first cigar. Is a $30 plus cigar.
I mean, I guess our price point is pretty good. You can extra odd. I mean, if it's if we're doing business, I guess we're at the right price point where he wants to be at. So I mean, as far as expensive, on the expensive side with the most expensive tobacco, I think we're priced pretty right.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't get it sometimes. And then the ones that launch with 8, 10 blends, and all of them are $15 plus cigars. I'm like, I don't get it.
Right.
Well, I mean, it depends who you are, right? Like, let's take Steve Saka. He's been in the industry before Dunbarton for years. I mean, the guy worked for JR, then he worked for Drew State, right? So when he came out with Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, he already had all the relationships, right? Even for him, he had to sock away at least $1 million. That's at least what he says. And then he hits the road and he already has these relationships with these people. But even then, you still got to make sure your cigar tastes good. Okay, now what is the price? You know, his prices are $17, $18 sticks, right? For him, it works. Why?
Yes.
Because he has the relationships, he has the reputation, he knows what he's doing, and he was able to do that. Is it maybe a $13 cigar? But he's like, hey, I can get away with making it $18 and make greater margins. Hey, if he can make it work, he can make it work because he has the relationships, right? So it also does matter on not what you know, it's who you know as well too, you know. So for a guy like that, he's successful because he's put in his time. He put his time in, and he didn't launch Dunbarton in his 20s or 30s.
Yeah.
The guy's, I don't know how old he is, but he's, you know, he's got gray hair.
Yeah.
And Dunbarton's been around for what? Less than 10 years? 10 years or so?
He got a great goatee.
Just celebrated his just came out with his 10th anniversary stick.
Yeah. So
there
you go. He
great
put in
pedigree.
a lot of years before he could actually say, I own a cigar company.
Yeah.
That's a guy that did it right, and he can get away with $17, $18 sticks because, like I said, he's paid his dues.
And you know he's not going to put out a crappy stick. You know that his pedigree and his experience and what he has produced and what he's put out is all premium. So if he's going to take that leap and come out with, you know, and start his own company, like you said, he's not some 30-some-year-old, 40-some-year-old guy that you don't know.
Right.
You know, they have a resume.
I never knew of Steve Saka in the industry when he worked for JR, when he worked for Drew Estate. He was always behind the scenes. We didn't know who he was.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden Dunbarton comes out and then people are like, well, he was successful. Why can't I be successful? Well, you don't know the dues that he paid. You know, so so these guys, they want to open cigar lounges. They see me, you know, they're like, oh, you're successful. I just want to do what you do. You know, like, you know, I want to quit my day-to-day job and I want to open a cigar lounge and sit around as my retirement gig. And I'm like, dude, I've been doing it since I was 19. They're like, how old are you now? I'm like, 49. I'm like, 30 years. I hated the cigar industry in my first 20 years, 25 years, because I didn't know what I was doing. I did not hit success in my career in cigars until maybe the last 10 years.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was doing. And today I'm still learning. And it's taken me a very long time to finally say, yeah, I can feed my family. I'm comfortable. I know what not to buy. That is huge. You know, I get guys coming in and they want to sell me this. I'm like, nope, you know, or even like
that's words of wisdom right there. It's not about, you know, do you know what to carry, what to buy? You know what not to carry and what not to buy.
Yeah, that's huge. I don't care who it is. Altadis came out with the Romeo 150, right?
Yeah.
Great marketing, great everything. I look at it, look at the price point. I'm like, 2 boxes. My rep's like, what? 2 boxes? I'm like, yeah, just 2 boxes for this. That's it. People are going to try it and they're going to realize it's just an okay cigar that you're charging $20 for, and it's just not going to move. I'm not going to get reorders for it. I'm just not. How do you know? I'm like, okay, give me 2 boxes. If it does really well, I'll order more later. And, you know, at the end of the day, I didn't order any because it's just not going to move, man. I just know it.
Because you know your clientele.
That's it. It's the same with that new Placencia. They debuted at a PCA with the singer and the thing dropping from the ceiling and all the media. We were all there, and then I smoked that cigar, and I'm like, this cigar sucks. You know, like it's just okay. You know, it's just
yeah. And they spent a lot of money on marketing,
but the hype was around it. You know, I posted a picture of me smoking it. People were so excited, you know, about that. Oh my God, I can't wait to try it. And I'm like, God, that hype is real. You know, I'm like, you guys would be fucking disappointed when you smoke this cigar.
Yeah, I mean,
minus the hype. I'll take the
$26 to $27 cigar.
Yeah,
the new Alma del Cielo.
Yeah,
and I'm going to be transparent. I have to spend $500 of core line product from Placencia to qualify for 1 box of Del Cielo right now, right? Yeah. Unless I hit $50,000 a year with them. That's their condition. And at first it sold. It definitely sold, but I'm not getting repeat requests for it. So when they're trying to like make me spend $500 because my, you know, my bill is like $420. Like, well, if you spend another $75, you qualify for Del Cielo. I go, I still have some Del Cielo. It's $26, $27. It's not really moving that well anymore because people, you know, got their feet wet. They tried it and they're like, it's not worth $27. So I really, no, I'm going to keep my order at $420. I'm just going to buy what I need. I don't need Del Cielo. It doesn't sell, man. It did in the beginning, but right now it's over. So
The hype
sorry.
wore off.
And that's the part that is it's a bit of a curse for me. I'm all about getting you good cigars. I may not grow into a 15 or $20 million operation because I want to teach the people about the subculture. So I go after like guys like Ray and Joe, and I do things with them with Cigar Clowns. And this is and I've known Cigar Clowns for how many years? Many, many, many years. And this is my first time feeling comfortable to finally say, yes, I'm going to do an exclusive with you guys because I know it's going to be a good cigar and it's going to sell. At the end of the day, I got to feed my kids. I got 3 boys, right? I got to put food on the table.
Yeah.
So I got to sell these sticks. And that's why we're here on this show. Literally, this is why I'm on the show here, is because I got to get those things out of, you know, my store eventually. And when they're gone, they're gone. Now we got to figure out something else to do. So it's a lot of work. You know, it's a lot of work. Yeah. And I've got something. I even started talking to HDA. You know, we're going to maybe do something. And we're talking. And I'm like, I'm not in a hurry. They're like, oh, you're not? I'm like, no, man, this has got to be done right because my consumers have to believe what I'm doing. So whenever I do something, it will sell out because it's going to be good. And that has taken me, you know, till the age of 49 to know who not to play with because it could hurt me at the end. You know, our inventory is not the most expensive thing out there, but it is, you know, when you're spending $100 to $200 a box on a wholesale level and it doesn't sell, it's just sitting there. You know, the only company that can actually get away with stuff like that because they deliver is Padron.
Yeah.
Padron just delivers. And I don't know what sprinkled dust they're sprinkling. Well, I don't know what magic dust they're sprinkling on their cigars, but it just sells, dude. It does.
It just Padron is it's just one of those brands that just it boggles my mind that they still sell because I've been getting back into. I didn't smoke Padron for years, but I've been getting back into them, and I really appreciate because they're making some good cigars. But it boggles my mind that they're still selling. You know, because they don't have a social media presence. You don't know, you know, who's doing what at Padron, but damn it, they still they're fucking consistent.
Dude,
their core line is affordable and it's freaking fantastic. And then if that's your starting point, and then anything above that, you know is going to be excellent. So if you're like, hey, I can grab myself a Corona, core line for $8-9. I can grab a box press Toro for about $9 to $11, and it's an excellent cigar. You know that whatever you're going to get above that is fantastic. It's consistency.
They do a very, very good job. 1926 number 2 natural. It's $21 all day long. I'll spend that, right? But if I get a guy that comes in, he's like, I can't do it at this week. I'm like, okay. Over here, there's this thing called Avo Nicaragua Toro. Really? I'm like, yeah.
Yeah, I got a bunch of Avos in there.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm like, look, it's not going to be exactly, but if you're looking for that characteristics, that flavor, try this cigar. Try it once. And if I'm wrong, I'll give you your money back.
Yeah.
And then they try it. They're like, yeah, it's not exactly, but for $12, I can do this all the time because I can afford that. Showing that, you know, I don't want to be an Avo brand ambassador, right? But I have to smoke everything, so therefore I can give my customer what they're looking for, you know. And that's the specialty that I'm proud of, that I can navigate you to something that's really, really close. And but today it's all about Cigar Clowns.
Yeah. What is when is that cigar ready? I mean, is it
pre-orders are ready, bro. You just
pre-order. So you can find Mardo Cigars on all the social medias, Instagram. You'll figure out how to get to the We're on YouTube, so we can't say links and things like that.
No.
That's a big no.
The release is going to be early August, but I'm pushing for mid-August just to have a little bit of buffer there.
Okay.
So mid-August is when we'll start shipping it.
What's like the box count and the pricing? Do you know?
There's no boxes. It's either you can try single, you can try a 5-pack, and there's a little bit of a discount if you go like a 15-pack, and they're all loose sticks.
Fuck yeah, I don't
you
like
know what?
boxes.
Sick
and tired of boxes.
Don't even worry about the packaging. Just light that thing up,
Yeah.
enjoy it, because it's a good cigar, man. It just is.
Yeah, I don't know if Joe, have you guys ever released? I mean, all the ones I've had have always been 5-packs I bought. You guys do boxes or?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we do.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
This
Yeah.
rodeo clown comes in a box of 25. The
okay.
Geppetto comes in 2 sizes, boxes of 10. There is the gosh, what's the name of the girl?
The Goldie Grace says boxes of 10.
Yeah, those are little boxes of 10. And then there's the King of Clown, that's a box of 10. So, and it looks really, really cool. I love the image of the cigar clowns. I really like it.
Yeah.
It's so it's just like a subculture, right? It's appealing, it's cool. You smoke it, you're like, this is an actually good cigar, and it just looks cool, man. You know, like you're walking in your man cave, you have all this memorabilia. Cigar Clowns fits in that subculture, memorabilia, grassroots, good price, good people. That's what I'm all about.
That Goldie Grace.
A big fan of Goldie Grace is fantastic.
The cigar is fantastic. I love the band.
Yeah, the band's great.
He's got all the bands, you know, in a little pile separately, because we always do something with the bands, and always got to make sure, you know, that band goes in her little stash for the whatever she wants to do.
It's nostalgic. It really is. You want to do something with it. You're like, man, I don't want to throw away this box.
The artwork is just so fucking spot on when you take that band off. And I'm always careful when I take that one off too, because it's just perfect. And I'm like, fuck, like Kevin, I got a whole bunch of them because I know I'm going to do something with it. I don't know what, but I know I'm going to do something with it. It's over here somewhere. But that is a great cigar, because I go down to Columbia, South Carolina, for the Cigar Clowns. I get them down at the was it Merchant Tobacco down there.
And you know what? It's inspiring. So when I had the Russian Bear and the Robusto, you know, as a cigar lounge owner or whatever website owner, I was like, man, this is really inspiring. I want to do something with these guys, you know? So that's another factor, is that if a brand inspires me to want to do something, dude, that to me is the creme de la creme, because I know I'm going to be able to pay the bills this month, because I'm going to put out something that's fire. And that's what we're looking for. The consumer's looking for a good cigar at a good price. They don't want to be, you know, shystered. And that's what we're going to do. So yeah, man, I can't wait.
At a 6x50 for $16, that's a nice deal.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank Ray for that, and Joe.
Yeah. Now, Ray, how many, you know, with 37 blends so far, you know, I know you said you had some testers. Like, do you have multiple blends like in the cool room or in the works, you know, just waiting to come out, or like, you know, okay. I was wondering like what your, you know, procedure was. You know, you do one, you release it, then start the next one. But I guess with as big as you guys are getting, you're probably always have to have something settling somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I touched on it earlier in the show. Like we spent the last fiscal year, kind of focusing on our core lines, because it's something we kind of wanted to shift to. We felt we were ready to shift to those core lines, and we have those 4 core lines, like Gerard had mentioned: the Goldie Grace, the Geppetto in 2 sizes, the King of Clowns, and the Rodeo Clown. But with this release of the Russian Bear, we kind of wanted to go back to our grassroots and how we started, because people love those small batch cigars that we put out, and it's something that we wanted to kind of focus on coming into 2025. But yeah, man, we got blends that we're working on consistently. We have stuff sitting waiting. We have the Festivus 2025 has been ready for almost a year now, so that's been sitting. That's going to be ready to go. Ish blended that cigar for us for the for the 5th anniversary, the anniversario of the Festivus. But yeah, man, we got stuff ready to go, and we're always testing, like I said earlier, and we always got stuff in the loop ready to go, man. We're diligent on continuing our consistency in what we put out.
That's the excitement that we want. Thank you for doing that.
Now what
Thank
Ray,
you for believing in it.
What have you been smoking lately that you've been digging on? Not just from you, just from any company. Is there something you keep going back to? It's like, man.
I mean, I'm a Drew Estate guy from day one. The first premium cigar I ever smoked was an Underground. When I shifted
okay.
from like Acid and Asylum 13s and Baccarat and all the Don Diegos that I used to smoke when I first started smoking cigars. I didn't know anything about cigars 20 plus years ago. I've been to tons of Drew Estate. I'm a huge Drew Estate fan. I've always been a Drew Estate fan. I love the Unico series. I would say the 52 in the regular line of Liga is probably my favorite. The Velvet Rat in the Unico series is by far my favorite. I love the El Pupo. I can't stop smoking that cigar since it's come out, man.
Oh,
I absolutely
really
love
good.
that cigar, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
My first time I fell in love with AJ's product and his work was when I first smoked the Ron.
There's the cigar clowns, AJ Stick. Yeah, the Ron and the not Ron. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Ron was a
I
good
was
cigar.
like,
That was a
AJ hit the
fantastic
nail on the
cigar,
head with that cigar. It
Yeah,
was so good. I still
That
have
put
a
us on the
couple of
map.
them.
That put
Yeah,
that other
that
company, that
Ron-
distributor we used to work with on the map too for his little
yeah.
program that he runs. Just throwing it
Yeah.
out there, but
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, man. You'd be able to again, not to cut you off, Kevin, but like what we talked about earlier. It's the people that you build relationships with, right? It's the people that you do things with and you bring things to the table at the end of the day, right? So for us, that was a huge benchmark for us to kind of, elevate us to that next level. And then, and again, doors closing, like you guys talked about earlier, like Gerard talked about earlier, and a lot of other doors opened up after that door closed. And this is where we are now. You thought that's why we came out with a cigar, Kiss the Ring. That's why we came out with the Aftermath. All these things that have happened to us throughout the course of, the past couple of years, all those bad things, all those negative vibes, we turned into positive. Same thing with COVID. We turned the negative into a positive. That's what we're about. We're about bringing those positive vibes, being in touch with our clientele and shows like you guys and podcasts and reviewers and everything else. We've built really good relationships. So we take those negatives and we make them into positives. But again, like Gerard said, the Ron, that was huge for us to be blessed by AJ to be able to put out and bring a cigar like that to the table, man.
Cigar. I remember when that was released, and I remember getting a bundle of that, and I had them on my site, and they sold pretty quick.
Yeah,
and then I got another bundle, and I was like, I'm keeping these motherfuckers for myself.
Yeah,
They're
so
fantastic.
AJ's done a great job, but that old Pulpo is
unbelievable.
I tell
Do
people,
you carry anything from El Artesano Del Tobacco?
oh yeah, I carried Viva La Vida, the 5th anniversary, and the Jester,
mhm.
and they have it in the 500 Club 500.
Mhm.
Have you tried the Fry,
Excellent.
the little one?
I've smoked the Fry. It burns a little hot for me, but the El Pulpo is amazing. Anybody that likes Padron 26 Maduros, try the El Pulpo. Oh, you can't compare. I'm like, just try it. And they tried it, like, that was an amazing cigar. I'm like,
but those who know.
They're amazing.
They're amazing, and they're amazing people. Billy and Gus. Billy and Gus are family. We love Billy and Gus.
They're super great guys.
Just super nice guys.
Delicious cigars too. But yeah, good. Like you said, it's always good whenever you meet somebody and they have great cigars, but they're good people.
Yeah.
There's nothing that will substitute that.
Absolutely.
So, any thoughts about ever starting a? I know it's early, but starting another brand, for Mardo.
I'm talking to somebody, and
I knew it.
There's a small goal in 2027, maybe, but this is going to be something that, again, it comes down to tobacco, right? So the discussion is what tobaccos are we going to source? So the tobaccos we want to source are going to be aged tobaccos, and we're like, well, how much can we get of this tobacco? It's if you're willing to pay the price, you can get enough tobacco to make 100,000 sticks, 200,000 sticks, right? But the thing that I was approached with is that you're not going to be able to get this tobacco again for 2028. I'm like, well, can I get aged tobacco in 2028? Yes. So right now, if I do something, it's always going to be, every year it's going to be a one-off. But the thing is that every year it's going to be a banger. So if I do something, it's going to be, it's going to be 200,000-300,000 sticks. And if it sells out for that year, that's it, man. If you're a retailer, hope you get as much as you can, because if your followers like it, they got to buy as much as they can, because the next year it's going to be a different blend, but it's going to be a banger again. And that's the vision that I want to go after and see if I can make that into a reality. And I don't know what we're going to call it, but I know what we're going to call it. I just can't give all that information, because what if it doesn't happen? But But yeah, it's going to be more like a one-off type of brand. Every year it's going to be different, but it's going to be good. And that's my goal. And I don't think anybody does anything like that right now. If anybody does, the closest to it is like Viajante. You know, almost every single cigar they have is a banger, but there's always a rendition of it like 2-3 years later, but it doesn't really, you know, mimic the same exact cigar you had originally. Is it better? Is it worse? That's the gamble you take. You know, it's hard because if you work with really aged tobaccos, you're not going to be able to do that unless you want to work with generic. And I don't want to work with generic tobaccos. I just don't.
There are too many companies working with generic tobacco. You know,
well, that's if you want to be a brand and you want to be successful, you have to know how to use your money wisely. But for me, it's not about, you know, if I sold 200,000 to 300,000 sticks a year for a company of 2 people right now, it's just me and one guy. That's plenty. That's plenty of revenue, and we're going to be happy with that. And yeah, I won't be a gazillionaire, but my point is that the passion is going to be behind it, and it's going to be good tobacco, and we're going to have that reputation. So
yeah,
we'll see. We'll see if it comes out. I don't know.
I was impressed to hear, Ray, that you said that the Festivus is still aging and it's going to be for 2025. It's going to be ready. So I've had some, and this was years ago. This is probably, I think about 10 years ago. You know, a couple of the Viajante holiday cigars and just young tobacco. Just I smoked it, ammonia, headache, almost wanted to vomit. And it kind of steered me away from some of those, from certain brands for certain times of years, because it's let's hurry up and get it done, and then you know let's go ahead and sell it. But I was really impressed to hear that you guys are still aging the blends for the Festivus that are that's 6 months away.
Yeah, because I mean, because you only get maybe 2 shots at disappointing your customers, you know, and that's it. You know, like, oh, this one was a miss, you know, but you know Ray, you know, the clowns, they always produce good stuff, so I'm gonna give them another shot, you know, and then if it misses again, it's like the next time, like, I don't think so. They've had some misses. Now the legacy brands can do that because you can go and buy, you know, like you said, a Drew Estate, you know, this new one doesn't work out. Like, you know, they have 10 other cigars that I'll buy, you know, but yeah, you know, when you're, you know, producing, you know, 37 different blends and you're always on to something new, you know, every one has got to be a banger, you know.
Like Blackened was for me a fucking incredible release. Huge fan of that cigar. Blackened Connecticut, not so much.
Yeah.
But the Blackened was, I love that cigar. That is such a fantastic. I feel like you're getting kind of Liga type flavor, but not at Liga price when you're smoking that cigar.
Yeah. I took the Connecticut wrapper off the Blackened. Fantastic cigar with just binder and filler. Fantastic cigar. Just so I just knew it was that wrapper. Just something about whatever they chose just didn't do it for me.
Yeah.
You know, so.
And speaking of generic, Crown Heads came out with the Broadway, which is Connecticut broadleaf. I smoked it the other night.
I haven't smoked it yet.
So when I was smoking it, you know, I started thinking about it. And so it's a generic cigar. They're going to have it mass produced, obviously. It's something that is going to, you know, try to be their bread and butter. You know, for a generic cigar, for a mass produced cigar, for the price point, I give it a thumbs up. But is it a go-to for me? No, it's not. It's not a go-to. But will it do well on the market because of those parameters? And can they stay consistent? Yes. So for me, if somebody comes in and he's like a generic cigar brand smoker, I have no problem giving them a Broadway because that's the price point. That's kind of what they want to stay with. They're not really geeky. That brand will do very, very, very well.
Is that coming out of Casa Carrillo?
I don't know who's making it.
I haven't smoked one yet, so I don't.
I want to say my father, but I'm not really sure. It's a Connecticut broadleaf, but yeah, that cigar. It's not my wheelhouse. I'm a more San Andreas Maduro. I'm not a Connecticut broadleaf Maduro guy. But for a Connecticut broadleaf, the way they balanced it, the way they priced it, and the way they're able to generically mass produce that cigar, it's going to do well. It just It just will. People will buy it and they'll keep smoking it because of the price point, and it's going to always be available. So
yeah, I'm a broadleaf guy. Connecticut anything Connecticut broadleaf, I'll try it. Don't care what it is. I'm a huge
so
broadleaf guy.
try that stick.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's like a $9 to $10 stick. You're not going to be pissed that it didn't deliver exactly what you wanted, but you're like, dude, for $9-10, if you're on the road, you don't have cigars, you're craving something, you don't spend a lot of money because you have, you know, you have a lot of cigars at home. You can rely that if I pick up that stick, I'm going to be satisfied for tonight at the price point of like $9 or $10.
Oh, right on. I'll definitely have to head over to your place and pick some up. What do you miss about California? Is it the scenery? Is it the food? Is it, you know, the homeless people shitting on the street? What?
I miss California daily, to be honest with
you.
Do
you?
Yeah, I miss California daily.
You're in Sarasota.
Yeah, man. Where I live in California, Orange County, it is the best place on earth.
Now, where is Orange County? I know where Bakersfield is because
so it's a coastal county. It's between LA and San Diego, and city like Irvine. Anaheim is in Orange County.
Oh, okay.
And the thing that I like about California is, well, first off, I grew up there, right? So a lot of stuff that I love came out of California. So I have a little bit of pride there. Quicksilver, O'Neill, the skate culture, the surf culture, all those things. I grew up in that culture. Like Volcom, my wife dated one of the owners when they first started it for the first 5 years. So Kelly Slater, Rob Machado, all those guys are like common names that we're like, oh yeah, we know Rob. So if we see him, we're like, oh, hey, what's all right? It's like, we don't get starstruck. So that culture I have to leave behind, right? And another thing that I left behind is if you want to go to Big Sur, it's a 4-hour drive. If you want to go to Baja California, it's a 3-hour drive. If you want to Grand Canyon, it's a 5-hour drive. If you want to go to Vegas, 3-hour drive. If you want to go surf, it's right there. You want to go skiing, Big Bear is an 1.5-hour drive. You know, I know all the ins and outs of California. I know, you know, if I'm going to go to a party in Huntington Beach, I know exactly what kind of crowd it's going to be in Huntington Beach. So I know, you know, how to act. If I'm going to go to Newport Beach, you know, it's all the bougie people. I know what to dress like. It's just, I know everything about California, and it's also the friends, you know. I don't have those friends over here, but little by little, you know, I'm starting to build a community here, and it's making it a little easier. So that's what I miss about California. It's the convenience. So like right now, if I want anything from IKEA and I don't know if I'm going to like it because of the pictures online, I have to go all the way to Tampa.
Yeah.
Where for me in California it was a 20-minute drive, you know. Right now, if we want to go to Home Depot, I got to drive 10 minutes. If I get something that's the wrong screw, I got to go back, return it, get the right screw. It's just so far, right? In California, it was like Home Depot on every corner of the street, you know. So the convenience of that really, you know, kind of chaps me up. But, you know, I'm learning how to live here. But what I do like about here is on my way home tonight, I'm not going to be blasted with a bunch of billboards on my eyes. So when I go home, I don't have to unwind as much to go to sleep. You know, at an older age, those things start affecting your nervous system. So that's what I like about Sarasota.
What about food? What do you miss?
Yeah, the food in California is amazing. I mean, you can't compare. You have such a melting pot over there. Everybody's, you know, really competing. The standards a little higher, but you know,
is the seafood better in California than it is where you are?
I'm not a seafood connoisseur, so I can't tell you that. I don't know, but I know I've been to a couple places here that, you know, like vermicelli. I went to some Vietnamese place. I ordered vermicelli, and it was an angel hair pasta. I'm like, this is not vermicelli. I'm like, this is angel hair pasta. It really was. And I'm like, this is not vermicelli. I gave the waiter the food back. I'm like, I'm sorry, this is not what I want, you know. But I'm starting to learn, you know, what's good, what's not good. It takes time.
Yeah,
it really takes time. I love the almost no regulations on tobacco in Florida. It is so easy to do business here when it comes to cigars. Like I just mentioned, we don't even have to have a wholesale license here anymore.
Yeah,
they kicked it to the curb. I'm like, dude, it's like, you know,
we're trying to get rid of right now property taxes in Florida.
Dude, let's
go.
Know,
property taxes, God, you know, it's I can't even imagine what property taxes are in New York, Ray. You know, you guys got to be, you know, I hear the horror stories about these $10, $15, $20,000 or more on, you know, these houses and these aren't even mansions. You know, these are just people's regular houses.
I'll give you a little insight. Forget about the boroughs out here on Long Island in Nassau County. It's a little bit on the cheaper side. You're closer to the city, right? It divides. It's Suffolk County and Nassau County. You go out a little bit more east on the island in Suffolk, your property taxes go up friggin' 10 grand. Easily. You know what I mean? It's in the city. Forget about it. You can't even touch houses, and I'm talking about houses that have zero property and are in $1 million, you know, the $1 million, you know, the $1.5 million range. You can't touch property yet.
We just my wife is from Northern Jersey, and we just they sold her mother's
What part?
house.
You know,
gosh, that's gonna be horrible. And I can't think off the top of my head. It will come to me. It will come to me in just a minute here. But we just her mom lived in a Clifton, and
okay.
yeah. So you know, nice little brick home.
Mm-hmm.
You leave the driveway. You drive up to the end of the street. You can see the city line. See the skyline.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep,
The property taxes were freaking it's equal to what a mortgage is.
Mm-hmm.
It's ridiculous. It's absurd.
The closer you are to the city, the more expensive it is.
Yeah.
More convenience. You're paying for the convenience.
And it's exactly.
So we hear
not to cut you off, but like let's even talk about the congestion pricing that they implemented this past year.
Oh yeah,
insane.
And I'm with Trump on that. It's like, hey, your people already paid for them fucking roads. You know, I said they pay their taxes paid for everything, and then now you're gonna charge them because they want to come into the city during a certain time. You know, get the fuck out of here. You know, and they're like, it's brought in like $1 billion or whatever this year. Where's that money? Where's that money going?
Where is it?
Yeah.
Where is it? I don't see it. I don't see it anywhere. You got to pay tolls for the bridges. You got to pay congestion. So poor people that commute to the city every day have to drive, whether it's truck drivers, whether it's people who commute to Manhattan every day. You're paying your tolls to get there, and then you're paying the congestion prices on top of that.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You spend hundreds of dollars a week on just commuting to work every day, and it makes sense. But my conspiracy theory is that the crime here escalated with the current mayor that we have now, and they're trying to push people back into the MTA. They want people to commute every day. They want people who are working from home, who still working from home from COVID. They want them to come back into the city. So you know what? We're going to charge congestion pricing, and if you don't want to pay the congestion pricing, jump on an MTA bus or jump on the train and come into the city that way. Then you could save money doing that. People don't want to do it.
Yeah, and that's the way they're going to be able to implement crowd control, right? Coming from the fire department. We go to a scene. If there's too many people, we got to call PD because we want crowd control, right? So if you want to control the crowd into the city, you got to make them pay for it, and that's how you can control them, right? But at some point, I get it. We do need some regulations, but when it becomes too expensive to afford, that's when. But then again, you're like, okay, well, if we make it to where they can afford it, then we don't have crowd control. So it's just like, I get it. Yeah, it's over congested. That's the same thing with California.
Everybody moves out. Crowd control. Everybody leaves.
They want to do the same thing with Los Angeles. You have way too many people coming in, and in order for to control the crowd and the traffic, you got to make it more and more expensive to get into the city. So if you can't afford it, then take the MTA. And well, do you have the infrastructure for that? Is your MTA really running around the clock? Are the buses clean? Are they safe? Can I put my kids there? Can I send my 17-year-old daughter on a bus by herself to go to ballet practice because I can afford to take her there? And that's the only. It's just so it's rough, man. It's tough. I'm just glad I don't have that job. My job is just sell cigars. So
well, I mean, the good thing with California, in another 20 years, they'll have the high-speed rail. So you guys got that,
supposedly coming soon.
Yeah.
Well, they tried, and that cost them $7 billion, and all they did was build a little tiny bridge from here to the end of the year.
That's it.
Monorail. The monorail.
Yeah. I just watched Gavin Newsom, and he's making the rounds. Gavin Newsom's running for president, and he is learning, and he is making the rounds. He was just on the Sean Ryan podcast. And man, like Sean Ryan is conservative, but man, you could tell at the end of that podcast, Sean's like, oh man, maybe this guy knows what he's talking about. And I'm like, people were in the comment section like, man, don't buy his shit. don't buy the crap that's coming out of that guy's mouth. It's just so
It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. Not with the history of that guy. And listen, it doesn't matter where you stand on what political aisle whether it's left or right. Some things are just objectively freaking just out there. And
you gotta look at the track record.
You got to look at the track record, and that eventually comes out. That may get him to the dance.
Yeah.
But when the music starts, forget about it.
Yeah, that's the part where people's logic doesn't really give him the confidence to know that no matter what he says, the track record is not really penetrating my thought process. You know what I mean? It's like with that COVID vaccine,
like him or not, I think it's kind of interesting when we start talking about politics, because I find it very interesting. Like him or not, unless the Republican side of the party and whomever is going to run in the next election, we're not going to see anybody debate like Trump.
Nope.
He just had that fucked up, unique way of just being like, "You're ugly, Rand Paul," and just shut the hell, just like
New Yorker.
Yeah, exactly. Shutting shit down immediately. Right.
When's the last time you heard a president drop the F-bomb, on TV?
Yeah.
It's like, you guys don't know what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah.
People were outraged. President spoke like that. Yeah, he's a fucking New Yorker.
He's a New York freaking builder. That's what he is. And regardless of what his background, that's he's used to being around. Like you said, blue collar. It's what you're used to being around. It's how you got to communicate. So I don't think they're going to find anybody who, unless they freaking pick up the old Trump book of debating. It's going to be interesting to see how those debates move forward, because there were so many people in the past that as soon as they start getting their freaking nose bloodied, they back off a little bit. And it's like, no, you got to freaking step into the punch is what you got to do, and then freaking swing back even harder. So it'll be really interesting to see whomever, either side, in the next election comes out with, and see what that debate looks like. Because I wonder if we'll go back to the old ways of, accepting that the moderators may be freaking biased or slanted, and they may freaking BS. I find it really, really interesting, especially what's going to happen over the next 4 years.
Yeah, we're only 6 months in, man. We got 3.5 years to go, and he's doing something right, because every day they're pounding him over something. And it's just like, so he's got whether you like I don't like all his policies, I like some of them. But I at the end of the day, I feel like he's for the blue collar. That's what I personally feel like. I think
tax on overtime and tips.
Yeah, that's it. So I don't know. We're gonna leave with one topic on Smoke In Cigars. I love KMA Talk Radio. They're on every Saturday morning, 10 to 12. If you're not watching KMA, it's the best way to start your Saturday morning. They had a great topic. They each season they do the best of, and everybody picks. It's either villains, or last season was TV show dads. This season, which started Saturday, was TV theme songs. And I tell you, I couldn't pick one. I kept going through over and over again. But since we're here, what's everybody's favorite TV theme song or theme music from when you're growing up?
The one that really kind of sticks in my head, I'll go first. That, like, growing up, that is it. Like, it's always in my head is Sanford and Son.
Oh, see, that was Coop. That's winning the poll this week. Is Sanford and Son.
That is just, it's recognizable. It's catchy, and once you hear it, it just stays in your head.
I would say Happy Days.
Happy Days. There you go.
I like that one.
1, 2, 3,
Monday,
5,
Happy
4.
Days.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's great.
Happy Days was it's catchy, and you could sing along with it. And I like the show a lot. It was really cool. Yeah.
Ray.
Easy for me as a '90s kid. That's Saved by the Bell.
Oh, Saved by the Bell.
Oh.
I didn't even think of that one. That is a man.
Saved by the Bell.
Oh, that's a good one. For me, it was the Andy Griffith Show. It's that whistling.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
So Abe called me, and that's what I wanted to bring up today. Abe called me last night because I had typed that into the everybody was typing into the chat panel their various ones. Jessica picked Fraggle Rock. You know, was her.
That's a good one.
Rock.
Down at
Abe
Fraggle Rock.
Mhm.
Abe calls me last night and he's like, "Bro, I was going to text you this, but it's too much to text. I'm just going to tell you." He's at Publix. They had to go buy a plunger at Publix, and he's at the self checkout. And when the self checkout is done, it plays a tune, and he's like, "What is that tune from?" You know. So, and then another self checkout was done. It played the same tune, and he goes, "Now I got this goddamn tune in my head." I'm like, "What the fuck is this tune from?" So he calls, the guru of music, William Cooper, Cigar Coop, and then he goes, "What do you know?" He goes, "I'm trying to explain to them the theme song to Andy Griffith." So he goes, "Next time you're at Publix and it plays that," and he goes, "That's the start of the Andy Griffith." I'm like, perfect.
That's funny.
Absolutely
That's
great.
great.
Me and my dad, that was our favorite show, the Andy Griffith show. Last weekend,
New York is actually.
What's that?
New York is actually getting their. That's in New York is actually getting their first Publix on Staten Island.
Oh yeah, really?
Yeah.
All the way up there,
Mhm.
Publix?
Yeah. Mhm.
Really?
Wow, that's that's a jump. I
A big
love
move.
Publix.
Yeah, I've never been in one in my life.
Oh my god, it's so good. Every now
I've
and
been to
then,
the Piggly Wiggly.
Yeah, the Piggly. You guys still?
I've done the
I didn't
Piggly
know-
Wiggly.
I
No,
didn't
I'm
know
down in
they-
South Carolina. South Carolina.
Yeah,
Yeah, we got
okay.
the Piggly. We still got
Yeah.
the Piggly Wigglies. They're nothing.
Piggly Wigglies.
Yeah.
Last year for Hurricane Milton, my wife wanted to evacuate, and so we're like, all right. So we went to her stepmom's house up in Alpharetta in Atlanta area. So we're there for a couple of days, and I got to go get some diapers. I go get some diapers from the grocery store and come back, and then she needs to get some half and half. I forgot. And she's like, "Where's the grocery store?" I go, "I don't." I give her the address. I go, "Yeah," and she's on her way there. She's getting lost. She's like, "Well, what's the name of the store?" I'm on K. Rogers. She's like, "What? K. Rogers? K. Rogers?" She's like, "She's you mean Kroger's?" I'm like, "I'm calling K. Rogers. I don't know. I never heard of Kroger's in my life."
Oh
Those
my
Krogers.
god.
That's
has been
funny.
a joke.
Harris
That has
Teeter.
been-
Harris Teeter's been
Yeah.
blowing up around here. Harris Teeter's ridiculous.
Yeah, I think we're getting one here. I think we're
Harris
getting one
Teeter
in
is
town
like
here.
a cigar lounge away from me going with Jennifer to the grocery store because they got an awesome bar with beer. And I'm like, if you put a little cigar bar right there, I'm coming over. I'm going to hang out. I'll drink. I'll smoke cigars, and then I will go check out with the pastrami and the freaking rotisserie chicken.
Perfect. All right. Well, God, I can't believe it's been 2.5 hours. We probably could go another 2.5. It's just been a fantastic show.
Yeah.
Ray, thanks always for coming
thanks for
on.
having us.
We love you guys. We love what you guys are doing, what you're representing. Like you said, just the blue collar guy, just making cigars. That's what it says on like my Twitter profile. Just a regular guy making stuff for other regular guys. And I figure that's what you guys do as well.
Love that.
And Gerard,
Thanks for having me.
thanks for stopping in.
Yeah, it's been a
And
pleasure.
you can find Mardo Cigars on all the social medias. I'll make sure I edit this tomorrow and put the Cigar Clowns so you can find them on all the social medias as well. Kerr and I will be back next Monday for the another Puff and Ponder podcast. And since you're in town, if you ever want to stop by for a Monday and shoot the shit,
love
and,
to.
come
have
on
fun.
by and smoke some cigars and talk about whatever the hell we're talking about on that Monday.
You guys do a good job of
Unscripted.
it.
Yeah,
Unscripted.
unscripted.
Fun.
So we love it. So
Yep.
Kerr, leave us with some parting words before we end the show.
I will. Life is too short. And it's too short to clown around. But if you're going to clown around, make sure you cigar clown around.
I like that, Kerr. Nice.
I like that. I like that too.
Like that.
All right, everybody. We'll see everybody next week.
See you guys.